All right, here we are, week 2 in the high school football season here in the state of Texas. Alan Spada alongside EJ Sanchez here for week 2. Your Glen Grizzlies will be taking on the McNeil Mavericks at John Gupton Stadium here in Cedar Park. First home game for the Glen Grizzlies. Just to recap last week, Glen coming off a tough loss against Liberty Hill, 49-21, although the score looks a lot worse than what it really was. 14-7 at the half. And then that slot T offense finally got going as Kyle Harrison ran for a bunch of touchdowns. Shane Gonzalez, everybody did well. I want to bring in EJ Sanchez. Welcome, my broadcast partner for the entire season. He was off last week. He's back with us now. He'll be with us throughout the season. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, it's going good. I'm ready to get into the season. I saw Glenn. They played a really good Liberty Hill team last week, and especially playing that tough offense and then going in only down 7 at the half. Shows what this team can be this season.
Yeah, last week we saw, obviously, it's their first UIL district football game, varsity game, so it was, a lot of nerves to kind of shake off, but they were able to play well early on. They had some early penalties, some miscues, but they were able to move the ball. I thought Drew McGuire played extremely well. He threw for over 200 yards. One interception at the end of the first half, but he played well. He was able to run from the pocket, left to right, move, hit Jarvis on a couple of plays. Henderson was able to really do well. 2 big touchdown runs from Julian Morris and Corin Thompson, who was a big player last week. I think they ran for 261 yards. So they moved the ball well. Defense was just trouble. Liberty Hill got going, and they ran for 402 yards on the ground, and it was just impossible to stop. EJ, they only completed 1 pass last week was Liberty Hill.
Wow. Yeah, Liberty Hill definitely has a above-average secondary. I can say that. I came from Liberty Hill myself, so I'm very familiar with that team, and they do have a very tough secondary in front. But a storyline I'm looking for today is McNeil. McNeil's offense goes through the air, and one of Glenn's strengths is their secondary, led by Creel, and they also have Holmes and Townsley in the middle in that secondary. So it'll be interesting to see that kind of clash of those 2 powerhouse levels. It'll probably be a good match to see.
McNeil quarterback Zane Camphor, senior, 6'2". Last week, 21 for 33 for 64% completion percentage, 307 yards, 3 touchdowns. 2 of those went to wide receiver, all-district player, first team last year, Jordan Curley. If that name sounds familiar to you, he is the little cousin of Jeremy Curley, former Hutto Hippo standout, as well as TCU, and of course with the New York Football Jets. He is committed to play at Arizona State next season. Last week, 10 catches, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns, coming off of a 2017 campaign where he had 73 catches, over 1,000 yards, and 12 touchdowns. I'm going to be looking forward to see Brendan Spires, a cornerback, going up against Jordan Curley. That's going to be a big matchup to watch for me.
Yeah, Spires, especially being a senior, he's been through this before. He's now a leader on this team. It's going to be definitely interesting to see, and I'm also looking, you said that Townsley had a very good game last week. It'll be interesting to see if they'll double team Townsley going over the top to see if they can try to eliminate what Curley was able to do.
And it's all about Noah Holmes as well. I mean, you look at Noah Holmes, number 3, the free safety. You'll say, who's number 3? Big, strong kid, 6'3", 200 pounds. Really quick, came up with a fumble recovery last week. This defense was able to force Liberty Hill into 4 fumbles last week. They were able to recover 2 of them, 2 on back-to-back plays. They got one. They said the player was down. Next play, cough him up. Spires was able to recover it. They moved the ball really well. Had a little bit of trouble in the red zone last week again. As I mentioned, 2 long touchdowns. I think it was 2 50-plus yard runs. The most impressive one was the one right up the middle by Corin Thompson. Shredded that defense, went right up the middle for 53 yards for a big touchdown. But this is a really exciting team to watch this season. They have 3 non-district games before they start their district football game. After the bye week, they'll start on the road September 28th against McNeil. So they had Liberty Hill last week. We have McNeil this week. Next week will be on a Thursday schedule. We'll play the McCallum Knights, a bye week, and then they'll get ready for those 7 games in the district.
Yeah, this team is one that a lot of people are keeping their eye on, especially with them being only in their 3rd year of existence. A lot of people weren't expecting much, but this Glen team has a lot of potential, and they are looking to turn some heads, especially in a district that they are able to make the playoffs in.
And just a credit to the coaching staff, led by Rob Schoenfield, former offensive coordinator at Cedar Park. He's put together a really good coaching staff here. These guys are at practice on Mondays and Tuesdays at 6 a.m. I was able to go up to Leander and watch an early practice, and they're very organized, they're very disciplined, they're very crisp practice. Everything has a purpose, and that kind of discipline is going to show throughout the season how great they play. Last week, a big trouble for them was the special teams. They struggled on kickoff returns on the defensive side. Gave up an 80-yard return by Kyle Harrison, and the kicker Shipley for Cedar Park pinned them back into that left corner. Sam Martin or Corn Thompson unable to really get any good returns going. This is a team that works really, really hard on special teams. Coach Schoenfeld spoke to me about that this week and said, we're one of the hardest workers on special teams. We believe in the field position, so I'm really going to be looking forward to seeing that. That's kind of an underrated part of a lot of people's games, and that special teams is huge. You can literally turn the field around and give your offense a short field to work with.
Yeah, especially if the way Glenn likes to run their offense. They like to run their offense on the ground. When you're running your offense on the ground, that is when the field position battle is so important. So special teams also is going to have to keep them in this game and keep a long field for McNeil to work with to make sure they can't get any good momentum going and start with any good field position.
Absolutely. But again, as always, you'll see tonight, Drew McGuire can slinging, had a couple big passes. He had just missed Jarvis Henderson last week on a big throw. Just went right through his hands. So you can see he can throw it down the field 40 yards. Looking forward to seeing the boys up front. Jacob Trim, the center, Slade Jokas, and Nick Maddox on that right side. McGuire does a good job rolling out left, can throw from either side. He rolled out left majority of the time last week, so we'll probably look for him to do the same. Sam Martin, he only had 2 catches for 22 yards. He's a big playmaker. I want to see him get involved, and I'm surprised that we're this far in the pregame meeting and we haven't even talking about Nate Hatter. Big tight end, 6'3", 220 pounds. Last week, 4 catches for 38 yards, had a big 20-yard gain. If you get this kid in the open field, it's going to, Coach Schoenfeld said, it's really hard to bring him down once those wheels get going. He's a big body, really athletic, kind of like that new prototype NFL tight end body where he has good hands, is quick, can still block. Played linebacker for the team last year as well, so to let you know he's still pretty tough.
Yeah, speaking of linebackers, he's going to be a huge part of this offense. He's going to be going against 3 good linebackers in Levi Redding, Amari Azeli, and Remy Sanchez. These 3 guys are very good up the middle. They have a reputation for being tough against the pass, so it will be important for him to get going and see if they can open up some lanes down the middle.
Absolutely. So stay locked in. Glenn football team, they're doing their warm-ups here. We have a very, very, very historic moment. Last week was the first ever game in the UIL for Glenn. Today is their first ever home game today on September 7th. Follow the Grizzlies on social media. Follow Glenn Grizz, G-R-I-Z, Gridiron on Twitter. Go to glennfootball.com. You'll get the schedule, the rosters, news. You can order team swag on glennfootball.com. And every Sunday I look forward to the weekly message from Coach Rob Schoenfeld. He always puts out a weekly message. He put out a weekly message for Liberty Hill last week. A big message this week. Looking forward to see what he has to say after this game. Again, as always, follow glennfootball.com. And if you're at the game or you're listening at home or however you are, show your support for Glenn using the hashtag ALLINFORGlenn, ALLIN, 4FOR, Glenn with 2 N's. We'll be back after a quick break, and we will have starting lineups and national anthem. When we are back, Ounce Pay to EJ Sanchez here with you for this one. We'll be back on KMAX Sports on the Vype Media Sports Network.
This is the KMAX Sports Network, and this is what we do.
Looking left, throws into the
end zone. Snap again, he hits the turf, and Delmar scoops it up. Cameron Wilkins
has it. The end zone. 10, 5, touchdown.
If you like the sound of that, then let us broadcast your team. Send an email to merle@kmaxsports.com or chuck@kmaxsports.com to find out how. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. It's what we do. We are KMAX Sports. This is Kevin McAdams, from the McAdams Company Creative. We love to make commercials. Let us make yours. Yep, that's me. While my voice is amazing and does sound wonderful, I've been given to understand that every once in a while, y'all might want to hear somebody different. So I went out and recruited some guys. So first, I'd like to introduce Blake.
Good afternoon. My name's Blake Herrera, and my voice will make you feel safe on an airplane.
This guy over here, this is Steve.
Hi, I'm Steve. True story. When I was in college, girls used to love it when I read their textbooks to them.
And I'm Kevin, and my voice makes women want to buy new cars. Let's talk about what we can do for you. Reach out to me by phone or text 512-653-9491. or check me out online at themcadamscompany.com. I'm Kevin McAdams with the McAdams Company Creative. No longer working alone. I love to make commercials. Let me make yours. KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? We're like the biggest, most beautiful field of bluebonnets you can imagine. Except we're not going to play sports here because they're bluebonnets. What, are you crazy? We'll get some nice pictures before we go, though. Hey kids, just sit down over there. Yeah, right in the middle of them. Smile. Perfect. Well, we'll send this one to Grandma. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are KMAX Sports.
Vype Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet, covering UIL, private schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at Vype, VYPETexas.com. And also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
We are back. 3 minutes and 50 seconds left until kickoff. Alan Spada, EJ Sanchez, Randy Fry behind the scenes with you for week 2 of the Glen Grizzlies versus the McNeil Mavericks. Glen just came on the field with their Glen Grizzlies flag. Big crowd out on hand tonight here at John Gupton Stadium in Cedar Park. We're ready to go for football. We're going to have our national anthem soon. Quickly, let's give you the starters for Glen. Left to right on your radio. First, we'll start with the offensive line. At left tackle, number 73, Trent Brown. Next to him is the left guard, Rudy Martinez. The center, number 70, a senior, Jacob Trim. At right guard, a junior, number 61, Nick Maddox. At right tackle, number 53, Slade Jokas. Behind center, quarterback, junior, Drew McGuire. And we are going to pause momentarily as we honor America for our national anthem. By the national anthem, as we're now less than a minute left to kick off. We're back to the starting lineup. Drew McGuire, last week 14 for 26, 54% completion, threw for over 200 yards, had an interception, also ran 3 times for 24 yards, including a 21-yard first down as well. Glenn, likes to go with a 3 wide receiver set, so we'll see number 13, Sam Martin, number 5, Corin Thompson, who can do everything. You'll see him out of the backfield in motional eye, and then the big play receiver on the right side, Jarvis Henderson, number 20, a senior. The running backs, we'll see Julian Morris, Lamont Slade. We'll see a little bit of Roddick Stumplefield, Shamir Nichols, and of course the big tight end, as we mentioned earlier, Nate Hatter, 6'3", 220 pounds. We have the captains at midfield. They are going to do a coin flip, and we will have who will take over in a second. Just quickly want to tell you about some of our sponsors for Glen football. Wouldn't be here without these guys. Los Reyes Mexican Restaurant in Cedar Park. off of North Bell Boulevard, 251 North Bell Boulevard. Check them out. Check out their awesome happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. in case you're getting off early, to 6 p.m. You can also check out the website at LosReyesTexas.com. Also, a special shout out to Dreamfinder Homes here in Austin. Dreamfinder Homes is now building in the greater Austin area, providing a variety of home styles across 8 different communities. Community selections including outstanding amenities to suit the wants and needs of any active or passive lifestyle. Whether you're looking for your first home with city living or downsizing your luxurious retirement home, Dreamfinders has the perfect home for you in Austin, Texas. Visit them at dreamfindershomes.com/Austin Communities.
So it looks like the captains for the Glen Grizzlies were Corin Thompson, Jamal Johnson, as you said, their strong Staley, Alexander Townsley. 3 guys that Glen is going to need if they're going to have a chance in this game against McNeil.
Absolutely. You're going to this Thompson kid can really play. The coach Jeff Walker from Liberty Hill had a lot of big things to say. He actually appeared on KView last week on ABC KView and talked about this team. Really projects them to have a playoff season, but when I spoke to Coach Schoenfield about that, he said, listen, we got to worry about it. Typical coach talk, 1 week at a time. Let's focus on McNeil right now. Let's bounce back after a tough loss last week for Liberty Hill. So McNeil will be kicking off to Glen. Sam Martin and Jarvis Henderson back for the kick. And we are getting ready to go. Whistle goes, and the kick is a short kick. It's actually a little pooch kick. It's caught fair catch by Corin Thompson at the 36-yard line. So Glen will start off with excellent field position here at the 36.
Yeah, at the 36, short field to work with, so it's going to be up to McGuire to try to take advantage. A good start to this game will definitely carry over, and will give him some good momentum going for the rest of the game.
Interesting to see what they were thinking there, because if you saw the kicker, he was only about 3 yards behind. He didn't have that normal wind-up where a guy takes about 7 or 8 yards to kind of run and kick into it. But Glen was all over it. Great job by Thompson to receive it. And again, they will start actually at the 35-yard line. So here comes the offense. It will be left to right on your radio. Sam Martin will be the lone wide receiver on your left. It'll be Nichols and Henderson out to the right. Julian Morris and Nate Hatter in the backfield. So here's McGuire from the shotgun. So they're working on the play, possibly changing a 3-man front for McNeil. Snap. The give is to Thompson. He's going to take it outside to the left. He's going to push, and he's going to get met for a 1-yard loss. Big tackle there by number 8, Jason Powell, the free safety. Big hit there.
Yeah, the free safety is going to be imperative in this game for on the McNeil side of it, especially trying to stop a running attack that Glen likes to run.
Nichols comes off, and they're going to bring in Julian Morris in the backfield now, much bigger back. See how they handle it here. 2nd and 10. Rolls right, McGuire looking for a receiver. In traffic as he throws to Jarvis Henderson, who wants a flag. There's tight coverage there. 3rd down for the Glen Grizzlies.
Yeah, that was very tight coverage right there, and he wanted a flag on that play. He didn't get it, so now they're quickly facing a quick 3rd and 10.
11:30 first quarter, 3rd and 10 for the Grizzlies. They need the 45-yard line to keep this drive going. As they line up, they're going to go Martin split to the left on his own. Hatter, Henderson, and Martin go out wide. Here's the play. Hits Hatter, pushes through, gets to about the 41-yard line. Going to end up short. It's going to bring up 4th down and about 4. We'll see what Coach Schoenfield does. Offense looks like they're staying on the field, so it looks like they're going to go for it on 4th down here. 4th and 6. No, then they will. Looks like they are going to bring out the punting unit.
That was a good tackle right there by Remy Sanchez of the McNeil Mavericks.
So it looks like we're going to have Pedro Soto punt. Last week was Brandon Spires punting, but it looks like we'll have Pedro Soto back there to do the punt. Jacob Trim on the long snap. Kick by Soto is up in the air. Going to cross the 30-yard line as a fair catch is called, but it's going to take a Glen bounce all the way inside the 20. Awesome punt from Pedro Soto as now McNeil will take over at their own 20-yard line.
And maybe even more important, he kept the ball out of the hands of Curley. And Curley, as we've already seen from doing the research, Curley is a very dynamic receiver as well as returner, so maybe just as well keeping the ball out of his hands.
Obviously, Curley, the Arizona State commit, want to keep the ball out of his hands as much as possible. So here comes the offense for McNeil. Again, led by senior quarterback, Zane Camphor, 6'2", 175 pounds, 300 yards last week. As he takes the first handoff and gives it to Hutchinson. He's going to take it past the 25 to about the 26. They'll mark him at the 25, so 5-yard gain for Hutchinson, the first carry of the game.
Matthew Hesser, the senior defensive end for the Grizzlies, came up with the tackle on that one.
Shotgun again, throws out wide on screen to Curley. He's going to get going past the 30, 35, go out of bounds at the 34. They'll say he was out of bounds, so they want to get Curley involved often.
Early. And it looks like Blake Henke, who's also the backup quarterback, also was in on that tackle for the Glen Grizzlies.
So first down, ball all the way to the 34-yard line. The give is to Hutchinson. He bounces up the middle, and he's met by a swarm of Grizzlies, and the ball's on the ground. And it looks like Brian Creel picked it up, but they'll say the runner was already down. Everybody was in on that tackle.
Yeah, Daiku, Guyton, and Hester were big on that play, and they stuffed them up front for no gain.
So it'll be 2nd and 11 now from the 33-yard line. Again, Camphor in the shotgun. Hutchinson next to him. 2 wide receivers out to the right. The give is to Hutchinson again. He tries to bounce to the outside. He's wrapped up by James Francis Daiku for a loss. Big play there from Daiku.
Yeah, just got into the backfield, got off that offensive lineman really quick and just bursted into the backfield. In 2 straight plays, the defensive line has come up with a big play.
3rd and long, 3rd and 12 for the Mavericks. They're at the 32, so they need the 44-yard line.
9:23 left to go in this first quarter between the Glen Grizzlies and the McNeil Mavericks. No score.
So Donovan Brown now in at running back. Camphor changing the play at the line of scrimmage. 3-man front for the Grizzlies. Running a nickel package now. 5 cornerbacks, 5 defensive backs actually.
Johnny Nguyen is on Curley.
Camphor back to pass, looking, has nothing, steps up in the pocket. He's going to roll out, try to get the first down, and he's tackled there by number 3, Noah Holmes. And not enough for the first down, so that's going to bring up 4th down. We'll see what McNeil does as Camphor is looking for a play, and they're actually going to bring on the punt team. Big play by Holmes.
Yeah, it was a good job by that defense right there, not letting them get any momentum, especially after the 3 and out the offense just had.
Yeah, those corners locking down Curley and Gordon, forcing Camphor to kind of step up and run. Great job, though, for the free safety to kind of be in that little middle spy action and make a big tackle. So 4th and 7. And looking to punt. That ball's going to be in the air. It's going to get to about... It's going to bounce. It's going to take a McNeil bounce. This one's going to go inside the 25. They'll mark it outside at the 24-yard line. So Glenn will take over at the 24-yard line. 8:16 in the first quarter, still no score. Glenn against McNeil.
So Al, what do you think is going to be key for Glenn here to try to get this offense up and going, especially early here in this game?
I think if you look at on the field, it looks like Glenn is the bigger team. My attitude is run it to Morris right up the middle. See if you can start getting some big yardage. Let these big boys up front create some room and let Julian Morris do his work. Last week he ran for, I think it was right here. Ran for 73 yards on 7.5-yard carry. 7.5 yards per carry, excuse me. Morris will move over to the left, and the give is to him. He'll take it up the middle and push through all the way across the 27-yard line. They'll give him. So a 3-yard gain for Morris. So it'll be 2nd and 7.
We're trying to get this offense going, especially with the no huddle. They're already back up at the line.
Here's McGuire now. Shotgun snap. 2 wide receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Morris with him in the backfield. And it's a quick pass quickly as they get it out to Sam Martin. He's going to get the first down as he goes across the 37-yard line out of bounds. So a 10-yard first down for Sam Martin. And that'll move the chains for the Glen Grizzlies. And that's why the run is so important. Let these guys respect the run, open up the pass game. So Glenn getting a first down, first one of the night as they're looking to drive. The ball's on the 37. McGuire back to pass. Takes a heave over the head of Nate Hatter, who was crossing around the 45-yard line. So a high pass from McGuire and bring up 2nd down. Again, you see this offense. They're looking to throw first. We saw McGuire throwing traffic on the first drive. Here they are now, 2 passes, 1 run so far on this drive. So it'll be a 2nd and 10 from the 37. 7:40 in the first quarter for the Glen Grizzlies. Shotgun snap goes to McGuire. He's going to give it up the middle. And Morris is going to get stuffed by number 28 on the defense for there. Actually, no.
Sammy Latham, number 42. He was the one that immediately got into the backfield, and he just blew by that Glenn Grizzly offensive line. It was a good tackle right there, and for McNeil, they needed to stop that offense for a quick second there, try to catch their breath.
3rd and long for Glenn, unable to get anything going on the running game so far, but you can't give up on it yet. So passing down here, they need the 47-yard line for a first down. McGuire back to pass, rolls out to the right, is looking, nothing yet. Receiver falls down, he's going to throw across the field to Sam Martin, and he can't come up with the play. McGuire, great pass across his body, and McGuire, and right over the hands of Sam Martin. That'll bring up 4th down.
Man, if you watch the play back, he had an open lane all the way down on the far sideline. If he was able to come up with that, who knows, we probably could have taken that to the house.
I'm not sure if it was Hatter on that play. He was running out towards the 40-yard line on the Mavericks territory. He just fell down. So he was looking for him there, had nothing there, and McGuire had to throw across his body to the middle of the field, and Parn unable to come up with the play. So here's Soto now to punt. He'll go directional to the right side. Fair catch called for by Curley again. That's going to take another bounce to about the 31-yard line. But Coach Schoenfeld and this special teams unit, they're not going to let Curley run anything back tonight. Yeah,
they obviously did their homework. They read their scouting report on what a talent Curley is. And obviously they're going to try to get, if they're going to get beat, they won't make sure it's on Curley on the special team side of the ball.
That's exactly what Shipley from Liberty Hill did to them last week. He kicked the ball right to that pylon on the left side, and then you can set up your coverage unit to go right into that lane, and you don't have to spread anybody out. So great job by Liberty Hill. So the Mavericks offense will come back out. They'll start their 2nd drive of the game. 6:52 left in the first quarter. They'll start from the 31-yard line. So Camphor under center. He's going to give the ball to Brown. He's going to bounce out to the right side, waiting for something to open up. And he is met by another swarm of Grizzlies. So they're going to give him 3 yards on the gain. He'll get to the 34-yard line. 2nd and 7.
It was a good job right there by Glenn, not allowing him to get any space. Seems like they clogged open, especially it looked like the A gap right there on the right side of the offensive line. So it was a good job by them stopping them right there.
Clock continues to run. 6:25, 2nd and 7. Mavericks need the 41-yard line. High snap, and so we might get a false start. Is there a penalty? We're all going to get a false start.
It looked like the receiver on the far sideline took off way before the ball was snapped.
False start by,
and it was
number 13, Evan Plock. So he jumps. It's going to bring them back 5 yards. It'll be a 2nd and 12 now.
Plock, who also doubled as their kick returner.
First penalty of the game. Glenn, 3-man front. Shotgun snap. Camphor back to throw. He's going to find Curley. Hit him at the 35-yard line. And he's breaking a couple of tackles, and he'll get to the 33-yard line.
Alexander Townsley was the unsung hero on that play. He was the first one to meet Curley. Curley had nowhere to go after that, and by the time Curley was able to shake Townsley off, there were a swarm of Grizzlies there to take him down. So it was a great play by Townsley getting into the backfield.
Slow that kid down. Do not let him going, as Curley's going to bounce right back out to the left side. 2 wide receivers on each side for Camphor. He's looking to throw deep. Finds Curley again towards the sideline. He's going to try to break a tackle. And he's out of bounds, but he'll get all the way to the 42-yard line. So that'll be a first down for the Mavericks, a 9-yard play to Curley.
So it looks like Johnny Newen is the one that is lined up across from Curley instead of the senior Brendan Spire. So that's a match that we have to continue to monitor for the rest of the night.
And they've gone to Curley now on 2 back-to-back plays. Hutchinson rolls out. They go to Curley again on the outside. He's going to get to the 43-yard line before he's met by a few Grizzlies.
Again, Townsley's the first one to get there. He's going to be huge in stopping Curley tonight. And if you take a look here on the near sideline, they are double teaming him over the top to make sure that Curley has no space to get behind that defense.
2-yard play to Curley. 3 straight passes to him on those screens on the outside. Camphor gets the ball. He's going to give it to Hutchinson, who's met immediately at the front by Callan Guyton. He's going to bring him down for about mark him at the 46-yard line. So a 2-yard gain.
Again, this defensive line so far tonight has done a great job of stopping this run and not allowing them to get to the outside or break it off of one of their tackles.
Third and 6. Pass up the middle to Curley. He's going to get across the 35 to the 30. And he is brought down at the 23-yard line. A big play there by Curley for about 27 7 yards. Big pass there from Curley.
And with the pace McNeil is going right now, Glenwood didn't look like they were even set up. And Curley just went straight down the middle. No linebacker was there. It looked like they were playing all up front, and he was able to burn them for a big gain.
29 yards on the play for Curley, who's got 5 catches so far in this one. 1st and 10 from the 25. The give is to Hutchins. Going to run right up the middle as he's brought down by Daiku at the 19-yard line. They'll give him the 20. So a 5-yard gain for Hutchinson. It'll be a 2nd and 5 from Glenn's 20. 4:10 on the clock. Camphor looking in from his bench, trying to get the sign.
It's going to be important for this Glenn front 7 to try to slow down this momentum to make sure that McNeil can get out of the groove.
Lone back, Hutchinson will take it outside, bounce to the left, and he'll pick up maybe a yard as he's met by Jamal Johnson. And the ball will get to the 19, so 3rd and 4 for the Mavericks.
And it's a big player here. I know it's early, Alan, but this is going to be a huge player here to make sure that at least try to attempt a field goal for McNeil if you're on Glenn, especially with Glenn, how much time they put on their special teams.
So 3rd and 4 to see if they look to go to Curley. And they're looking his way. They're going to go across the field, and they hit him on a slant, and he gets to the 9-yard line for a 1st down.
So instead of going outside, especially with a guy with his kind of speed, they're looking to try to go under the secondary, and that seems to have worked with him on the last 2 times he's touched the ball.
10-yard gain for Curley. 1st and goal now for the Mavericks. You can see this is the guy. He's the entire offense. They're going to look for him, so now they kind of, this Glenn defense is going to try to have to anticipate some throws and try to cut something off. Curley split back. Give is to Hutchinson. Will run right up the middle and push the pile to about the 5-yard line. So pick up a 4, 2nd and goal.
Right here on the near sideline, it was Nguyen and Johnson. They double teamed Curley on that last play, so if they're going to get beat on these next couple of plays, they don't want it to be because of Curley.
And these linebackers, Creel and Dowden, got to make some big plays up the middle because they're probably going to stay with Hutchinson on the ground. Hutchinson in the backfield. Under center, the give is to him. He's going to run untouched into the end zone for a 5-yard touchdown. So a touchdown for Winston Hutchinson. His 1st touchdown of the game, a 5-yard run. And the Mavericks take a 6-0 lead.
And right there, McNeil just got into too good of a groove. They'd have 2 runs in a row. They picked up 8 yards, then they'd hit Curley on the outside. And that's their recipe for success. That's their plan going into this game, and for every game for that matter, especially when you have a guy as dynamic as Curley. But Hutchinson was the bell cow right there for McNeil.
So Dickinson will line up for the extra point. They'll get the snap, high snap, they'll get it down, and it is no good. They missed the extra point. It was a high snap and unable to bring it in as Hutchinson missed the extra point. It is 6-0 Mavericks. We'll be back after a quick break here on KMAX Sports Vype Media Network.
Vype Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet covering UIL, private schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at VypeTexas.com and also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.
From West Texas all the way to the bayou and all points in between.
I saw miles and miles of Texas.
This is the KMAX Sports Network, bringing your teams to you.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
2:33 left in the 1st quarter. 5-yard touchdown run by Winston Hutchinson. Extra point was missed by Dickinson, so 6-0 Mavericks lead. As we're getting ready for a kickoff, Hutchinson now will back up all the way. As I mentioned earlier, he was a little short on the first kickoff. He'll back up about 8 yards away from the kick. Sam Martin, Jarvis Henderson back to receive for the Grizzlies. Starting to get a little anxious. Kick is off. And it looks like Henderson is going to catch it at about the 11-yard line. He's going to run to the left, and he's met by a bunch of Mavericks, but he bounces to the outside to the 20, gets to the 25, 30, 35, back in bounds at the 41-yard line. A big return, a 30-yard return for Jarvis Henderson. Looked like he was going to get met in the back of that 11-yard line. He bounced all the way to the right side, picked up 30 yards. They'll start at the 41-yard line.
It was that last little burst, and he could have could have gone further. Lorenzo Williams of McNeil looked like he got pushed, actually, into him. So a great return right there. Showed off the speed on the outside. Was able to go around in good field positions. Let's see if Glenn can take advantage.
So Glenn taking over at the 49-yard line. Big play by Jarvis Henderson. A 30-yard kickoff return.
It'll be interesting to see how Glenn responds, especially with how well McNeil moved the ball on that last drive.
Slade, Martin, Henderson, Thompson, and Hatter. There's actually looks like there might have been a penalty on the play because they're going to move the ball to the 46-yard line. So they'll take the extra yards.
Short field, good teams take advantage of these types of opportunities.
So 1st and 10 from the 46, 2:23 left in the first quarter. McNeil 6-0 lead. Thompson in motion, and they give it to him. He'll bounce to the left side. He'll get to the original line of scrimmage, so no gain there as they're going east to west on these plays. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, they've done a good job so far. It looks like Thompson already has 2 carries. Neither of them have gone for any type of gain.
Well, last week he did that. He had 9 carries, 108 yards. They were able to do that motion play and run to the outside, but McNeil seems to be all over it here tonight. 2nd and 10 from the 46. Shotgun formation. Morris in the backfield to give it to him. He's going to take it across the 50 to the 45, pushing all the way to the 40, 35, 30, 24-yard line. He's going to get it out of bounds at the 24-yard line. 28-yard line, excuse me.
It was a 28-yard pickup there. Good run right there by Morris, especially getting to the outside, and it looked like it was blown up about 3 yards in. Good job of exposing his speed right there.
Got to get that run going. Ball's on the 25-yard line, 1:23 left on the clock, 1st and 10. Give this to Thompson right up the middle. He's going to shake, move to the 20, get across to about the 16, 17-yard line they'll give him. So an 8-yard pickup for Thompson. Glenn moving the ball here. 2nd and 2 now from the 17. Quick snap. Give us to Thompson again. He's going to bounce outside. Try to pick up the first down. And it looks like he is. They're going to mark him at the 10-yard line. So 7-yard pickup now for Thompson. You like the pace that Glenn is moving this ball quickly.
Yeah, especially it's good for Thompson to get him going early. First 2 carries, no yards. In the next 8, next 7. Those big chunks are going to pay off dividends, especially when he gets to the 4th quarter.
Glenn moving the ball, a great response drive. And this is what we saw last week against Liberty Hill. Every time Liberty scored, Glenn was able to have a big drive to push the ball. Morris is in that backfield. Thompson back in motion. They're going to give it to him. He's going to actually fake, and they'll give it to Morris, who's going to push and get his way all the way to the 6-yard line. So a 4-yard gain for Julian Morris. He's their big bruiser back there.
Yeah, especially having a big bruiser right there, especially in these types of situations when you want to capitalize in the red zone. It does something to a defense, especially the guys up front.
Henderson and Martin split out to the right. Hatter in the backfield now with Shamir Nichols, it looks like. Thompson again in motion. They'll fake the gift to him. And he's going to roll out. He's going to hit Hatter inside for a 6-yard touchdown. Great play action pass from Drew McGuire, and they get a 6-yard touchdown to the tight end, Nate Hatter, to tie the game at 6.
Yeah, we talked about him pregame. Hatter was playing the block on the right side, rolled out, perfectly executed by the Grizzlies, and it was a beautiful response drive with 20 seconds left to go in the first quarter.
So a 6-yard touchdown pass to Nate Hatter. His first touchdown of the season, first touchdown for Drew McGuire as well, as Soto will line up for the extra point. Martin will hold, kick is up, and it is good. So great response for the Glen Grizzlies as they go all the way down the field. They had a short field after the penalty, took it 54 yards. In less than 2 minutes, they pick up a touchdown. They lead it now 7-6 with 20 seconds left in the first quarter.
Yeah, it was a good job right there, especially getting Morris. The big key play on that was the 29-yard run by Morris that flipped the field. That really got the offense going. He had a 4-yard run, as well as Thompson, who was able to pick up 15 yards on the ground right there. So this is exactly the type of offense that they ran last week, bruising up the middle with those 2 backs.
So great job. They just moved the ball. They looked confident. They were able to. They started off again, like you mentioned, that big run by Morris, pushing through. Thompson had a big run. And then the big catch by Hatter there to cap off the drive. So if you're Glenn, you feel good about it. The missed extra point from Wilkinson. To see how that plays out as the game progresses. It is now 7-6 as Glenn is getting ready to kick off.
McGuire so far started off a little rough, but already is at 3 for 6 for about 16 yards. But when your backs are doing that kind of damage, you don't really need to throw for exactly 300.
So Soto will be placed at the 40 as we get ready for a kickoff. Curley and Plock back to receive. Kick is up, short kick. Looks like Plock's going to get out to the 20, 25, 30. He's going to get all the way to the 31-yard line. So a nice return for Evan Plock. And McNeil will take over with 14 seconds left in the first quarter from the 31-yard line.
And again, I feel bad for whoever's counting Townsley's tackles tonight already. Again, now first making it on defense and now on special teams. He is a catalyst for this Glenn team, not only, as we just saw, not only on defense but on special teams as well.
Do a great job with those safeties and Holmes and Townsley. The strengths of this team, but up front's been pretty good too. So 14 seconds. Give is going to be to Hutchinson. He's going to run up the middle and get to about the 38-yard line, so a 7-yard gain for Hutchinson. He had the 5-yard touchdown on the last drive, so that'll bring up a 2nd and 3 for McNeil, and with that buzzer is the end of the first quarter. The Glen Grizzlies lead it 7-6. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network.
We hope you're enjoying tonight's broadcast. At KMAX Sports, we work hard to provide quality professional broadcasts to make it easier for the booster clubs with whom we work to find sponsorships. We ask that you please patronize these advertisers and thank them for supporting your team's broadcasts. You can help your booster club fund the broadcast by simply clicking on the donate button on KMAXSports.com, and if you're a fan of the other school, you can show your appreciation for tonight's broadcast by making a donation as well. Thank you in advance for your support. And now, let's take you back out to the game.
This is the KMAX Sports Network, and this is what we do.
Looking left, throws into the end zone. Snap again, he hits the turf, and Devon scoops it up. Cameron Wilkins has it.
15, 10, 5, touchdown.
Let us broadcast your team. Send an email to Merle@KMAXSports.com or Chuck at KMAXSports.com to find out how.
Side, he's got blockers in front of him. Touchdown.
Yes, sir.
It's what we do, and nobody does it better. We are KMAX Sports.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
Back in action here to start the second quarter. Looks like we're going to get a false start for McNeil as everybody was rushing to the line to get the playoff. And we are going to get a false start.
That certainly doesn't hurt.
So they'll be pushed back now. It's a short 2nd and 3. Now it's become a 2nd and 8 for McNeil. Again, the offense pretty much has been Curley. A lot of passes to him. He's got, if my math is right, 5, 14, 24, 53 yards so far for Jordan Curley. And the fake, and they're going to go to Curley across. That's actually Plock across the middle. All the way to the 48-yard line. So a 15-yard pass, Drew McGuire to Evan Plock.
Yeah, especially with how much attention they're paying to Curley. Curley, it's going to open up some lanes for those other wide receivers.
Curley on Sunday, Curley on Friday. Hutchinson runs to the outside. He's going to cross the 50. He's going to get to about the 45-yard line. So a 3-yard gain. It's a hard 3.
And as we said before with the Glen offense.
Excuse me, a hard 7. 7-yard gain for Hutchinson. Runs to the outside again. There's Curley. He's going to break through all the way down for a touchdown. They hit him on the screen pass, and he gets outside. And you know what he can do with that speed is he gets on the outside for a 45-yard touchdown, just like that.
Yeah, right there. Really, Glenn couldn't have done anything. They saw the screen. They anticipated it. They got there, and Curley just shook him off. He got all the way. It looked like he was about to step out of bounds with very good footwork displayed on the far sideline. He was able to take it all the way through as the Mavericks take the lead back.
A 45-yard touchdown from Jordan Curley, and now Mavericks lead it 12-7. As here's Dickinson going to try to knock down a kick. As he missed the first extra point in the first quarter. Kick is up, and it is no good. He misses it again. 2 extra points missed by Zach Dickinson, the kicker. So it's a 5-point lead from the Mavericks after the 45-yard touchdown to Curley.
And you may not think of a lot of it now, but as we get to the fourth quarter, and maybe with how close this game has been played, those 2 points could prove to be crucial, especially at the end of this game. So Glenn has to take advantage, and again, we saw how they responded on the last drive. We're going to have to see if they can respond again on that drive. It was a much different type of drive. Last drive, mixed in a couple of runs, couple of passes right there. That was just Curley doing what he does.
And give credit to McNeil. They get, 2nd and 3. They get pulled back on the false start, 2nd and 8. Next play, boom, quick touchdown. So that's what they're going to do to Curley. They're going to try to get him involved every way they can. But the problem is sometimes you start doubling and triple teaming a guy, another guy steps up. So we'll see how this defense responds. Again, 2 missed extra points, so instead of what would be a 7-point game, it's now only a 5-point game. So the next score for Glenn would actually give them the lead. And you see if we start getting into that 2-point conversion chart, touchdown if they go for 2, give it a quick 7-point lead. So we'll see how Glenn will handle this. It'll be Martin and Henderson back to receive the kick. Again, another short kick might be coming up. As they kick it up in the air, someone's going to have to come get it. And it looks like they're going to catch it at the 34-yard line.
That was caught by Thompson. It was a good job by Thompson. It seems like it was a good kick by McNeil. It looks like they put it right between each line of defense, and he just stepped up and he came up, made sure nothing catastrophic would happen right there.
So not the shortest fields, but they'll still take over at the 34-yard line, so 66 yards to get back to the end zone. 11-17 here in this second quarter. Glenn trying to bounce back from a tough loss at Liberty Hill last week, 49-21. McNeil dropped a 36-33 heartbreaker to Duval. Both teams looking for their first win on a Friday night here in Texas. McGuire from the shotgun. Morris next to him. They'll bring Nichols now, and they'll fake the give to Nichols as McGuire's going to try to get on his own and roll out, and he's going to get met at about the 36-yard line, the 31-yard line, excuse me. So a loss of 3 on the play for McGuire.
Yeah, it looked like that play blew up as soon as it looked like it took too long to develop, and the McNeil defense wasn't fooled at all right there.
This offense, they like to do a lot of misdirection, put a lot of guys in motion, and Nichols just not ready for that one. 2nd and 12 from the 31. They need the 43. McGuire rolls out to the right, looking to pass, and he's going to find Sam Martin, looks like on the outside for a 36, so it'll be a 6-yard gain to Martin. So 3rd and 7. Grizzlies need the 43-yard line. McGuire calling out plays from the shotgun set. Timeout on the field. I guess they're waiting for a ball spot. The ball was at the 35. They move it up to the 36. So great job by the refs there. Every yard counts. 3rd and 7, going to roll out to the left. McGuire looking to pass, he's going to find Nichols, and he'll get Nichols at the 42-yard line.
And he was met by Mario Shandon, the senior cornerback for McNeil. He was right there.
So they're about a yard short of the first down. It's 4th and 1. Let's see what they're going to end up doing here on 4th and 1.
Being on their side of the field, it'll be a huge risk, especially still considered early in this game to go for it.
Need the first down here. You'd expect Morris to just blast right up the middle. McNeil bringing everybody pretty much 8 in the box. The give is to Morris. He's going to push through and get all the way across the 45 to the 45.5-yard line. So 4-yard gain, they'll call it for Morris. Big back. You get him going in space, it's hard to bring him down.
Yeah, especially his last 3 carries are averaging 12 yards a carry over his last 3, so Morris is starting to get going.
He's your north and south back. 1st and 10 from the 46. They give it to the outside. They're going to give it to Slade. Slade will get out and maybe get 2 yards on the play. So 2nd and 8 for the Grizzlies. Lamont Slade with the pickup. You're going to see a lot of substitutions by Coach Schoenfield. He's bringing in Nichols. He's bringing in Slade. Thompson running back. They're not going to go with the traditional bell cow back. They'll mix it up a bunch for you. 2nd and 9 now from the 47. Fake the give, passes out to Thompson. He's going to get across the 50-yard line all the way to the 45, and they'll mark him out of bounds at the McNeil 48-yard line.
Morris?
That was Thompson, excuse me. So 1st down for the Grizzlies. They'll take the ball at the 43-yard line of the Mavericks. So they're pushing the ball last couple of drives, making things happen. McGuire getting on the run, making some big throws. McGuire back to pass again. He'll find Thompson, this time on the left side, who's looking to push across the 40, and he'll get out of bounds at about the 38-yard line. So a 5-yard completion to Thompson will be 2nd and 5 from the 38.
It's good to see McGuire starting to get in his group too. Good job of having a balanced offense.
Absolutely. So we'll probably see a run here on 2nd and 5. See how they set up. Slade is in the backfield. Thompson will split out to the right with Martin. I want to see Sam Martin get involved a little bit on this offense. He's got a lot of speed as well. Thompson in motion. The give is to him. He's going to fake direction, go up the middle, and he is met immediately on the defense by number 9. Is that Malik Gordon, I think? I believe there's 2 number 9s. They have 2 number 9s on their roster. Reminds me of college football.
8:53 left to go here in this second quarter with McNeil winning 12-7.
3rd and 5 for the Grizzlies. They need the 33-yard line. McGuire talking to Slade in the backfield. Shotgun. Give it to Slade. He's going to take it. Push all the way to the 34-yard line. We'll see where the spot is. They're going to be a yard short. 4th and 1 again for the Grizzlies. Who they go for? They're bringing in Julian Morris and Roderick Stubblefield into the game as Thompson comes off. So another 4th and 1 now for the Grizzlies from the 34. 8:16 left on the clock, second quarter. Mavericks lead at 12-7. 4th and 1. Give is to Slade. He's pushed. And he's not going to get the first down. A big defensive stop led by number 41 on the defense for
Remy Sanchez was on the stop for McNeil, as well as Harley Pekka, the defensive end. Big stop right there for McNeil. Unfortunate for the Grizzlies, especially with how good that drive started to look.
So 4th and 1. Now it's going to be up to that Grizzly defense to try to keep it a one-score game. So unable to push through. They brought in Slade, and he was unable to get going and kind of get downfield and push his way through.
So it still looks like Morris, Thompson, and Slade are going to be the feature backs for the Grizzlies.
So here's McNeil now, 8:07 second quarter. Camphor in the backfield. Hutchinson next to him. He's going to split out wide now, empty backfield. Camphor's back to throw. He hits a screen pass to Hutchinson. Going to get across the 35. Push out of bounds at the 42-yard line. So 7-yard play to Hutchinson.
That was a good job by that secondary for Glenn, making sure that play that resembled a lot the way Curley got on the outside on that last play, making sure that far sideline is taken care of.
They like those big screen plays, so something to look out for now as they're bringing in another offensive lineman now on this package. Hutchinson split to the left. Shotgun snap, give it to him. He's going to run up the middle, and he's met immediately by number 44.
Derek Childs, the junior for Glenn. Wasn't able to hang on completely for a solo tackle, but he stopped him just enough so that the rest of the defensive line could get in there for a loss.
2-yard loss on the play to bring up 3rd and 5 from the 40. McNeil needs their own 45 for a first down. Big play from Childs coming off the bench.
That's a good thing to have a lot of depth, especially on the defensive line when you're in there pushing and shoving all day. It's a good job to have a lot of depth at that position.
7:29 on the clock. Mavericks leading at 12-7. 3rd and 5. Give is to Hutchinson. He's going to bounce out to the 40, 45, get across to the 48-yard line. So an 8-yard pickup and a first down for Winston Hutchinson. They'll give him the 47.
He was met by Townsley again on that play. It seems like every single time we're talking about a tackle in the secondary, it's going to be made by Townsley.
Big pickup from Hutchinson.
One-on-one, they've now switched, and now Newen is here on the near sideline.
And the give is to Hudson again. He's open all the way through past the 40-yard line. He's going to get brought down at the 38. It's a big run, a 9-yard run for Winston Hutchinson. They're actually going to give him the first down on that one. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Mavericks. Inside Grizzly territory now. They're at their 37-yard line.
Yeah, good job. We got to give credit right there to McNeil. They opened up the left side of that line, and they were able to break off a big run.
So we're going to get a timeout call by McNeil. We'll be back on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network.
Vype Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet, covering UIL, private schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at Vype, VYPETexas.com. And also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.
Socialize with us.
You don't have what they call the social skill.
On Twitter at KMAX Sports, or catch us on Facebook. Search KMAX Sports. Just another way KMAX Sports is bringing your teams to you.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
All right, we're back, 6:55. McNeil still on their timeout trying to come up with an offensive play. They'll have 1st and 10 from the Grizzlies 37. We're in the second quarter. Mavericks leading it 12-7. 2 touchdowns from the Mavericks, but Zach Dickinson unable to convert on 2 of his point-after touchdown attempts. So it is 12-7. 5-yard touchdown run by Hutchinson, a 45-yard touchdown pass to Curley for McNeil, and then a 6-yard touchdown pass for Hatter. Give it to Hutchinson. He bounces to the outside, gets across the 30. He's going to get down all the way to the 28-yard line, so a 9-yard run for Hutchinson. He's starting to get going for the Mavericks.
That tackle was made by Noah Holmes, the 6'3", 200-pound free safety for the Grizzlies. And something to note right here, they did switch, and so Newen is now on the near sideline, and now Curley is being covered by Brendan Spires, the senior corner.
2nd and short, and high snap as Hutchinson is going to push through. He's going to get met, but they're going to give him the 1st down now as he gets across to the 26-yard line. So it'll be a 1st and 10 for the Mavericks.
Looks like Guyton was the first one to meet him. And again, broke through the line very well, but didn't need much for a 1st down.
Both teams kind of moving around a lot on offense. The player runs to get off the field. 6-13. Give it to Hutchinson again. He bounced to the outside across the 20 to the 15. Inside the 15 all the way down to the 12-yard line. A 14-yard run by Winston Hutchinson. He is really getting hot right now.
Something to know right now, something I've been keeping my eye on. It seems like Hutchinson, the Grizzlies, as you said, they forced 4 fumbles last week, I think you said.
Yep.
They're going straight for the ball on every single tackle. They're making sure to try to get a hand on every single one of their tackles. So we got to see if they're going to be able to keep that going.
And Hutchinson is just running north and south as we're going to have a false start on the play. Or are they calling a timeout? What's the call?
Looks like it's a timeout.
It's going to be a timeout by Glenn on the defense. So quick mention of our sponsors. Again, Glenn Grizzly football team. We appreciate all the support that we get. Los Reyes Mexican Restaurant in Cedar Park off of North Bell Boulevard, 251 North Bell Boulevard. Happy hour starts at 2 p.m. EJ Sanchez, 6 p.m. So if you're getting off early or you're just around, stop by Los Reyes Mexican Restaurant. Get you a nice margarita. 251 North Bell Boulevard in Cedar Park. Visit them at losreyestexas.com. Dreamfinder Homes here in Austin. Find your next home with Dreamfinder Homes, Austin.com.
As always, got to make sure we have the Rev as our QA tonight. Randy Fry is behind the scenes working. We appreciate you, Randy.
Working hard for us. Al Spada alongside EJ Sanchez in the aforementioned Randy Fry behind the glass, helping us out. We're going to have a 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line for McNeil as defensive timeout for the Grizzlies. I think they get on par. We haven't seen Curley at all in this drive, so you kind of know his number is going to be called soon. So we'll see, unless they're just going to keep going with Hutchinson up the middle. And Camphor is changing the play at the line of scrimmage. 18 seconds left on the play clock. Plenty of time. High snap, drop down, give to Hutchinson. They meet him now at the middle. They'll still push across to about the 10-yard line, so a 2-yard gain on the play. 2nd and 8.
It was met quickly there by number 34, Hunter Lobato, the senior, this backup defensive end.
All on the 10-yard line. We're going to have a 2nd and 8 for the Mavericks. Play clock starting to run, 22 seconds left.
You wonder if the switch from Newen to Spires is affecting the way McNeil's calling the game now that the number 1 corner is going to be covering Curley.
We'll talk to Schoenfield. Hopefully there wasn't an injury to Spires, because remember, he wasn't punting at all, and he was last week's punter. Curley split to the left on his own. 3 wide receivers to the right. Snap and the give. There's going to be a whistle on the play. Delay game. They didn't get it off, so a 5-yard penalty. Big penalty for McNeil. It's going to push him back down to the 15-yard line.
Especially in the red zone.
2nd and 13. They need the 2-yard line for a 1st down. So we've seen Glenn go for it twice on 4th down. We wonder if this is going to be 4th down territory for the Mavericks. 5:05 left in the second quarter. Mavericks lead it 12-7. Referees kind of a little confused. Play clock continuing to run again. We're going to reset the play clock, though. Referees trying to get everything going. And we'll hold the play clock now at 25. About to get a second delay of game in a row. All right, I think everybody's good to go. 2 wide receivers to the right, 2 backs in the backfield. Shotgun snap. Henke is going to take it. He's coming off the bench. Henke came in as the backup quarterback. He's going to rush to the 10-yard line. So he's going to get those 5 yards back. It's going to be 3rd and 9, they'll call it, as they give him the 11-yard line. So 4-yard run for Henke.
As you said, they got the 5 yards back, but it was at the expense of another down. So we'll see, as you said, see if it's 4-down territory.
Camphor back in at quarterback. Brown and Hutchinson behind him in the backfield. They're looking for Curley. Going to throw a fade route wide open in the back of the end zone for Jordan Curley. An 11-yard touchdown, his second of the game. No one was on him there in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, again, Curley found himself alone in the corner. As you said, it was just a matter of time before Curley got going, especially in the red zone with his big frame. And McNeil capitalizes again. It looks like a miscue in the secondary of Glenn.
So last 2 times they find Curley, it's 2 touchdowns. So a 45-yarder and now an 11-yarder for the Arizona State commit. And the Mavericks are now up 18-7.
Take a timeout on the PAT. So it looks like here. You wonder if the 2 previous misses on the point after attempt is something that the coach is taking into consideration, especially in a game that looks to be close down the stretch.
Yeah. Back-to-back scoring drives for the Mavericks as they went all with Curley in that first drive, or that second drive that they scored, and then there was everything now through Hutchinson, and then Curley was able to finish it off with that 11-yard touchdown.
Yeah, again, it makes it really hard on that defense when you want to focus on the double team on Curley, but then again, you have to drop another linebacker or another safety back into coverage, and that just leaves it open for Hutchinson, who's really running with a lot of power right now.
4:22 left in the second quarter. We'll see what these defensive coaches next to us, what they're seeing, what's going to happen at halftime, because it looks like it's going to be Hutchinson and Curley for the Mavericks so far. If you can try to knock those 2 guys, let the other 2 beat you. So let's see what kind of defensive adjustments Glenn is going to make as this game progresses, because it's either all Hutchinson, or all Curley. So looks like we're ready for the point after attempt, as it was a charge timeout to McNeil, as you said. So wonder if they're going to go for it here. Let's see, get those 2 points back and make it
27. And it looks like they are.
They are going to go for 2, try to make it a 13-point game.
This could be a huge 2 points down the stretch for Glenn.
Everything to the right side for the Mavericks as they're going for the 2-point attempt. Gordon is in motion. Camphor rolls out to the right, and a big tackle, big stop by number 26, Lee Pollock, as he breaks up the play. 0 for 3 on the extra point attempts for the Mavericks. They've leaving points on the board. They go for 2 there to try to give themselves a bigger lead. And Lee Pollock with the huge tackle is 18-7 McNeil.
And hopefully that kind of momentum will carry over into the offense. It's imperative right here for the offense for Glenn to have a sustained drive and give that defense a break after back-to-back scoring drives. They're going to need to catch their breath, and especially Glenn. Glenn needs to get going on their offense.
So we're going to have a kickoff here in a moment after a quick commercial break here on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network.
All the way to the bayou and all points in between.
I saw miles and miles of Texas.
This is the KMAX Sports Network, bringing your teams to you.
Vype Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet, covering UIL, private schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at Vype, VYPETexas.com. And also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.
All right, we're back 4:22 as is the kickoff now short to the left. And it's going to be returned to the 41-yard line to another short kick from McNeil, as it looks like that was Townsley on the return. So short field as they'll take over the ball on the 40-yard line. For whatever reason, McNeil deciding not to kick long. They don't want to get these playmaking receivers to get out in open space after that 30-yard return by Henderson. They probably want to limit that. But nonetheless, Glenn will take over at their 40-yard line. 4:18 left in the first half. They were able to go to Morris, and he was able to get them some chunks of yards, so let's see if they can go back to that. They got to hurry up now, though. 8 seconds on the play clock as McGuire's in his shotgun set. He'll take the snap, and the give is to Morrison, who bounces around. He's going to push his way across to about the 41.5-yard line. He'll call it the 42. It'll be a 2-yard gain for Morris. 2nd and 8 for the Grizzlies.
It looked like a little bit of interrupted timing right there between the snap and the handoff. It looks like Morris took off just before he was about to, and it looks like he closed the gap.
McGuire wants it again. Shotgun. He's going to roll out to the left. Receiver's changing direction. He's going to hit Henderson, who's going to push his way all the way to the 49-yard line. He'll give him forward progress. So a 7-yard catch by Jarvis Henderson will bring up 3rd and 1 for the Grizzlies. As I mentioned, you're going to see McGuire roll out a lot to the left and get his feet going. But Henderson not moving too much and breaking free. There's a lot of traffic there on the left side. So it'll be a 3rd and 1, 3:25 left in the first half. Mavericks 18-7 lead over the Grizzlies. Here's the snap. You give it to Thompson. He's going to bounce out to the left side, try to make a juke. He's going to push across to the 50-yard line. Should be enough for a first down. They're going to mark him at the 50. Still waiting for the call, and they will move the chains. It's just first down for Corin Thompson.
Hey, it is best to put a good move on him, but Jason Powell was not fooled. He did a good job of setting his feet there and not letting him get around him.
A great job by Thompson trying to shake him, but pushing forward, leaping forward to get that extra yardage. So 1st and 10, they'll mark it at the 49 of Glenn. So right at the midpoint. Thompson again in motion. They'll give it to him. He's going to take it at the midway point, push across. He's going to get some help as he is all the way to the 47, so a 4-yard pickup for Thompson. They like to run Thompson in motion and get those handoffs all day long up the middle. So let's see if now they try to get somebody else involved. 2nd and 7 for the Grizzlies.
And it's definitely a good mix when you have Morris, who's more of a power back, and Thompson, who likes to run outside the tackles.
3 split wide to the right. Hatter, Nichols, and Martin. Henderson to the left. McGuire rolls to the right, looking to pass. He goes deep over the head. And no flag on the play, as there was a lot of interference with number 27 on the defense for McNeil. The ball was over his head.
And you saw the Glenn bench. You saw the crowd begging for a flag right there. It seems like as soon as he jumped up, that's when he got hit, before the ball even got there.
Levi Redding on the coverage for McNeil. Henderson kind of stopped and he wanted to go up to get it, but he was right underneath it. And Coach Schoenfield on the field, not happy at all with the play call, well, the lack of a call there on that one. 3rd and 7 from the 47. They need the 40-yard line to keep this drive going. Who's going to make a play for the Grizzlies? 2:24 left in this first half. 3-man front for McNeil. Shotgun snap. Fake the give. Stepping up in the pocket is McGuire. He's going to find Slade, who's going to cross to the 34-yard line for a 13-yard. They give him the 35, so a 12-yard pickup for Lamont Slade. Great pass. Great job by McGuire to step up in the pocket and avoid that pressure.
Yeah, especially as the defense got into the backfield, he was able to use his feet to keep the play going.
1st and 10 from the 35. Snap. The give is to Slade. No, they fake it. Across the middle of the field is going to hit Henderson. And he's going to push and fight all the way to the 16-yard line. A 19-yard pickup for Jarvis Henderson. And now a flag comes out, and we'll see what that was about. That's Henderson, the 22-yard line. So a 13-yard pickup by Henderson. And let's see what the call is.
It looks like Glenn is confident that it's not going to go against him.
So the referee's conferring to see what the penalty is. They picked the flag up already. The ball right now is at the 22-yard line. A 13-yard pickup from Jarvis Henderson. A great running play again from McGuire. So no flag on the play, they'll say.
It'd be good if Glenn could bleed just a little more time to leave. As little time it is for Curley and the offense to get another point before this halftime.
Clock running, 1:50 in the first half. Glenn driving. They have the ball at the McNeil 22. Give it to Morris. He's going to push. Get it across the 25, 15, 10, 5. And he's brought down at the 5-yard line. A 17-yard carry for Julian Morris on the outside to the left.
Yeah, he's going to be dangerous as soon as he starts getting going, and did a great job of balancing off the left tackle for a big gain right there.
Thought he had a chance to get in. A late tackle by McNeil. It'll be 1st and goal from the 5-yard line for the Glen Grizzlies. Moving these chains.
Almost looked upset at himself for not getting in right there.
Hatter, Slade, And Morris all in the backfield. And the give is they'll push it, make room for Slade. He's going to get all the way down to the 1 yard line, a 4-yard run for Lamont Slade. And Glenn, really getting going on this drive. We'll have second and goal from the 1 yard line. They line up, hurry, trip backs in the backfield. Give us to Slade again. They'll make a hole for him, and he's in for a touchdown, a 1 yard touchdown for Lamont Slade. And the Grizzlies back on the board with the touchdown. 18-13. McNeil leads it as we wait for the extra point.
Great job of responding right there, especially somebody we saw, Lamont Slade. Slade seems to be the third back to change of pace back for Glenn, and it was a great job responding, especially exactly what we said needed to happen, getting the defense a chance to breathe and getting this offense going in the right direction.
Our third down conversions for Glenn as it's Soto now for the extra point. Martin holds it down, kick is up, and it is good. So 18-14 as Glenn responds with a 1 yard touchdown run by Lamont Slade. It is now 18-14 here in the first half, a minute 9 left on the clock as Glenn will get ready to kick off. We'll be back after a short commercial break here on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network.
KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think of the state capitol if it was full of sports. I mean, the rotunda is more than large enough for basketball or volleyball, and let's face it, anything we do in there is going to be better than what's going on right now. Plus, those guys only work every 2 years. We bring your teams to you every doggone day. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are KMAX Sports.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
Well, we're back. A lot of scoring in this one. 18-14 so far in the first half. A minute 9 left on the clock as Glenn is getting ready to kick off. They just capped off a big drive of their own, capped off by a 1 yard touchdown run by Lamont Slade. It is now 18-14. Soto getting ready to boom it to the back. It's going to be caught. Fair catch caught at the 28-yard line. So McNeil will take over at the 28-yard line.
Fair caught by Plock, and it was a good job keeping them within the 30. And it was interesting, as we were saying during the commercial break, it was interesting that Glenn didn't bleed a little more time. They had plenty of time left on the play clock. Yep. And with playmakers, especially with Curley, who can take it all the way in just one simple play, it was interesting that they didn't bleed a little time. But most likely they just wanted to keep the momentum going, especially with the way their offense was moving at that point.
That, and sometimes you can't take things for granted. You know, you got to get you down. By 2 scores, you got to get the touchdown when you can get it. Like you mentioned, they were in a groove, they were running. Now they're going to have to trust this defense to make some big stops, but as we've seen now, it's been all Hutchinson and all Curley in this one. So one of those guys is going to get the ball here. McNeil only 1 timeout left in the first half, so we'll see how they kind of game plan.
Yeah, and as I said, on the timeout that was taken before Holmes made that very good play, on the point after the third touchdown, bleeding a timeout right there really hurts in this situation if you're McNeil.
So 109 left. 2 wide receivers to the right. Curley on his own to the left. He jumped. Going to be a false start on that play as he jumped off on the false start. Curley trying to get a head start on there. He's on the false start, so it'll be 1st and 15 now as they'll move the ball back to the 29-yard line.
Yeah, that should send a message to the Glenn secondary that he's trying to get down the field as soon as possible.
Yeah, you mean if you need to cheat, you cheat. They got Noah Holmes split to the left, and he's going to kind of finding his way creeping to the right side. He's going to get over to that right side and help out with Curley. As Camphor's back to pass, he throws across the field high as he misses Malik Gordon across the field. Incomplete pass.
Now, if you watch Curley on the far sideline, he had no intention of trying to drop back. He was trying to burn the defense all the way and try to get behind him, but Holmes did a really good job of coming up over the top and not letting it happen.
Holmes moving around as that free safety back there, the junior, 6'3". Definitely going to be interested to see the type of offers he gets. Very athletic, big, strong safety for these Grizzlies. Trip left to the right. Daiku gets a lot of pressure, and it's going to a rollout pass, the screen pass to Curley, and he's only going to lose a yard actually on the play. So it'll be 3rd and 16 from the 27-yard line.
And he got out of bounds. Now,
the 6-yard pass.
Yeah. Something to note, Glenn still has 2 timeouts, so if you're able to make this and push him out of bounds right here, you never know, especially with how good your offense was coming out of that last score. You never know what could happen.
A penalty pushed him back, so I saw the marker. I thought he was behind it, but they were getting those yards back. 3rd and 10. Throw, and he hits Plock all the way across. The ball pops out. It's going to go out of bounds, so Plock gets all the way to the 48-yard line. A 19-yard pickup for Evan Plock on 3rd and 10. So McNeil, a big 3rd down conversion there.
Yeah, the Glenn defenders had a very good idea of what they wanted to do. Plock was trying to get Plock turned back inside instead of getting out of bounds, and he should know that with the amount of timeouts that his team has. It was a good job by Glenn. They didn't interrupt him while he was trying to, and they tried to keep him in. And it looks like the clock will stop, however.
Not sure if we're going to have some kind of announcement from the referee. He's standing like he wants to say something, but nonetheless, everything's good to go. 1st and 10 from the Glenn 48. They're going to call a penalty. No, they are going to move it to the 42-yard line, so a penalty on Glenn for some reason. Blitz coming. Throw is high to Curley, and they'll get pushed out of bounds at about the 39-yard line.
Obviously, this team, especially with Curley, a key part of their offense. They're trying to get him going, especially when they need it with so little time left.
1st and 10. Curley again to the outside. He's going to get the 1st down. He's going to go across to about the 27-yard line. So a 9-yard pickup for Curley.
Exact same play. They ran back-to-back right there. As I just said, it's going to be him and Hutchinson the rest of the way through. And in a time where they're calling for a lot of passes, it's obviously going to be Curley.
1st and 10, 36 seconds left on the clock for McNeil. Empty backfield. Curley on the outside on the screen. Pushed out of bounds. As he's met by Lee Pollock. So it'll be 31 seconds now. McNeil pushing it down. I mean, they're inside field goal territory, but the way Dickinson has missed, probably going to be 4-down territory here. 2nd and 4 from the 21. And Curley can't come up with it. He drops it. As there was a slant right in the middle of the field at the 10-yard line, and he drops it. A plain drop, 3rd and 4.
Chase Dowden.
McNeil.
I'm sorry. Chase Dowden, the unsung hero on that play. He bursted through the line and made McGuire try to make. McGuire put it right there, but it was a good job right there by Dowden. Tried to force some pressure right there, maybe having to defend on McGuire on that throw. Oh.
Grizzlies getting pressure here. They're showing blitz again. 3rd and 4. Camphor back to pass. He throws again. This time to Curley. He'll pick it up and take it inside the 5 down to the 3-yard line. Big play there from Curley after the drop. Clock running now. Well, no, 1st down, so the clock will stay there until they put it down. 21 seconds now. Clock's going. Timeout on the field by the Glenn Grizzlies defense. You know, in the big spot, now this is Curley's drive. We saw Hutchinson, now this is Curley's drive. They've been looking for Curley this entire drive. Most likely going to get him again in the end zone.
Exactly. I think that's 4 receptions and 3 of them coming on the exact same play. They're very confident with what he's able to do on that far sideline. He's been doing it all night, so hard to see why they're trying to put the ball in his hands.
So timeout called by the Glenn defense. Keep up with Glenn. Follow them on Twitter at Glenn Grizz, G-R-I-Z, Gridiron at Twitter. Check out the website, glennfootball.com. All Glenn football information. Get your schedule, your practice schedule, Coach Schoenfeld's weekly message, order Grizzlies swag. Everything you need is on that website, glennfootball.com. Text your support. Not text your support. Tweet your support or use the hashtag AllInForGlenn, G-L-E-N-N, All In For Glenn here on social media.
If the Glenn defense is able to keep McNeil off the board here, it would be huge momentum going into the second half. But with 19 seconds left to go and 2 playmakers in Hutchinson and Curley, it's going to be very difficult, but let's see if they're up to the task.
No timeouts for McNeil, so they're going to have to hurry it up. They just burned their last one. 19 seconds, 1st and 3. Hutchinson in the backfield. They'll give it to him. He's going to bounce to the outside, and he's untouched in the end zone for a touchdown. So a 3-yard touchdown for Winston Hutchinson, and the Mavericks now have a 10-point lead with 14 seconds left in the first half.
That was unfortunate right there. It looked like the Glenn defender, it looked like Childs was there. He had a hand on him in the backfield, but it looks like Hutchinson runs with too much power. He's a full head of steam, and he was able to get in. 14 seconds left to go.
So tough defensive drive for the Grizzlies. They give up a touchdown. Dickinson lining up, trying to get his first extra point of the game. Snap, it's down, kick is up. And this one is good, so extra point is good for Dickinson. 1 for 3 so far on the night. Mavericks with an 11-point lead, 25-14 in this one. The Mavericks will get the ball to start the third quarter.
Yeah, it was unfortunate right there that the defense couldn't come up with a stop, because if you're able to get that last score with a minute to go, and you're also coming out of the half with the ball, could have flipped the score right now, but working with an 11-point deficit, and as it looks, probably going into halftime.
So we will have a kickoff for McNeil, probably a short kick and maybe a last-second Hail Mary. Scoring, 5-yard touchdown run by Hutchinson with 2:33 left in the first quarter. Glenn came back, 6-yard touchdown pass to Hatter with 20 seconds left in the first quarter. At that point, Glenn had the lead 7-6 because Dickinson had missed the extra point. Then Curley gets on a 45-yard screen pass for a touchdown. Again, another missed extra point. So then it becomes 12-7. McNeil. Glenn gets a touchdown run, 1-yard touchdown run by Lamont Slade. And then now a touchdown run by Hutchinson to make it 25-14. Ball is caught and downed at the 28-yard line for the Grizzlies. They'll have 14 seconds to try to make something happen on this drive.
Yeah, if you are going to go for that last chance Hail Mary right here, you're going to probably be looking for Jarvis Henderson and also Samuel Martin. Those two are going to be your featured receivers right here, especially in this type of package. A historic night here at John Gupton Stadium. The Glen Grizzly faithful came out and they're supporting. The stands are heavily filled tonight on this beautiful night.
I thought we were going to get a lot of rain. We had rain all week here in Texas, a lot of rain on and off. I saw that the report is 90% chance of rain tonight, but it's a beautiful, clear night here in Cedar Park, Texas. So
you see it, McNeil already is in their prevent defense.
They're going to put the ball to the 25-yard line. Remember that fair catch now. If you fair catch it inside the 25, the ball goes to the 25-yard line. So see what Glenn draws up with 14 seconds. And the give is going to be to Slade. He's going to bounce to the outside, get across the 30-yard line, and push across for even more for a first down. And so he's going to get the ball all the way to the 37-yard line, a 12-yard pickup for Julian Morris. So a quick timeout by Coach Schoenfield now. 6 seconds left on the clock from the 37 to see how creative they get to try to make something happen, to try to put some points on the board before the half.
Yeah, it was a really fun grit play to watch right there. You saw Morris easily could have gone down and taken it into the half, but he knows if he can get across that first down marker, he knows that he has a timeout already and gives his coach at least a chance to try to pick up at least 50 yards and try to get into the end zone right here.
So 2 touchdowns by Hutchinson, 2 touchdowns by Curley. And those are the 25 points for the Mavericks. And Grizzlies, a touchdown run by Slade and a touchdown reception by Hatter. Grizzlies went into halftime last week down 7, currently down 11 with 6 seconds left, looking for one final play in this first half.
Definitely will be interesting to see the defensive halftime adjustments that Coach Rob Schoenfield will make.
So everybody's out now, we're ready to go. 3 wide receivers out to the left, 1 to the right. Morris is in the backfield next to McGuire. Prevent defense for McNeil. And fake the handoff, pressure. As McGuire's going to throw deep, he's going to get the ball to Thompson, and he is hit extremely hard. Now we got a little bit of ruckus and extra curricular activities at the 47-yard line, as Thompson was crushed by number
Davis,
number 44.
And Davis certainly had no problem letting him know. It looked like he stood over him a little bit. And the referees obviously were not happy about it. But you see on the far sideline, McNeil very happy about that. Big hit.
That's the last play of the first half. It looks like we might get a penalty. That McNeil bench is getting really excited. They look like they're trying to head to the locker room. And we wonder what the call is going to be, if they're going to...
See if they'd attach it to the second half kickoff.
Looks like they're going to do that since everybody's running to the sidelines. Coach Schoenfield is the only guy on the field trying to see what's going on with the referees. looked like a clean hit from Davis, but then, like you mentioned, he stood over him, and a bunch of his McNeil defenders gathered around him as well, and they were all hovering over Thompson. And to Glenn's credit, a couple of their players didn't like that, and they went and pushed those guys around too. So we have multiple flags on the field right now. We're waiting to get an explanation. Both teams, heading to the locker room. So we're still going to wait to see what the call is, as all 5 referees are kind of gathered around trying to figure out what happened here. If it's my call, I think it's a taunting penalty on Davis. But again, you got Glenn player. I think Sam Martin was in on the mix, and another player pushing them away from their guy. You can't stand over a player when he's on the ground after you've hit him.
Yeah, it's not necessarily who makes the first move, it's the one that gets caught. So it's kind of a jump ball to see who's the one that gets called for it. So we'll see if we'll get an explanation from the referee.
So they'll put the penalty on the kickoff. Not sure who got the penalty. We'll check with our stat box in the middle. But we're going to head to halftime with the McNeil Mavericks holding on to a 25-14 lead over your Glen Grizzlies. We'll have a couple of words to say at halftime, but we'll also let you listen to the Glen Band on their first home night here at Gupton Stadium in Cedar Park. 28 minutes for the halftime here in high school, so we'll let you listen to the band. We'll have a couple commercial breaks, and we'll come back with some first half analysis and get you ready for the second half. Alan Spada, EJ Sanchez, Randy Fry with you on a Friday night in Texas on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network.
KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? We're like the biggest, most beautiful field of bluebonnets you can imagine. Except we're not going to play sports here because they're bluebonnets. What, are you crazy? We'll get some nice pictures before we go, though. Hey kids, just sit down over there. Yeah, right in the middle of them. Smile. Perfect. Well, we'll send this one to Grandma. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are KMAX Sports. KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think of the Congress Avenue Bridge Bat Colony. Okay, folks, here they come. They're flying out from under the bridge. They appear to be Louisville Sluggers, and they're falling. The humanity. As God is my witness, I thought bats could fly. Bringing your teams to you since 2003 without dropping the ball or the bat. We are KMAX Sports. Do you love the game of football? Wish you could be part of the action? Then become a football official. The Austin Football Officials Association is actively seeking new members to officiate games all across Central Texas. The Austin Football Chapter of TASO, the Texas Association of Sports Officials, provides a 2-year training program for new members. Taught by a crew of veteran officials, these training classes meet each Monday night from July through November and include classroom and on-field instruction. You don't need to be an ex-player or a coach to become a great official and have a memorable officiating career. As our officials will tell you, working around student athletes at all levels of football is gratifying. Plus, you'll develop lifelong friendships with other officials who share your passion for the game. Officiating football is a great way to get into and stay in shape, be a positive role model for student athletes, retain your competitive edge, and earn additional income. Visit the Austin Football Officials Association online at afoa.ws for more information. That's afoa.ws.
Vype Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet, covering UIL, private schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at Vype, VYPETexas.com. And also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
We will welcome you back to John Gupton Stadium, home of your Glen Grizzlies. First half recap with 2:23 left to go in the first quarter. It was a 5-yard touchdown run by Hutchinson for the McNeil Mavericks that made it 6-0. Dickinson missed the extra point. The Grizzlies immediately responded with a 6-yard touchdown pass to Hatter with 20 seconds to go in the first half, and that made it 7-6. Glenn did have the lead at that point, but again, the Arizona State commit Curley for the McNeil Mavericks with 11:18 left to go in the second quarter. He made it 12-7 with a touchdown of his own, and again Dickinson wasn't able to capitalize on it. Curley also had another 5-yard touchdown pass in the corner of the end zone, and also to cap it off, another 3-yard touchdown run by Hutchinson with 14 seconds left to go in the second half. That really hurt the Glen Grizzlies. They weren't able to make a final defensive stand.
Yeah, we've seen, again, the two big playmakers for McNeil. 2 touchdowns for Hutchinson, 2 touchdowns for Curley. We've seen Curley do a lot. Again, they kind of it's yet to see a drive where you kind of mix and match both of them. It's either Hutchinson's drive or Curley's drive, and both of them have done well. Hutchinson and Curley both over 100 yards. Hutchinson over 100 yards on the ground. Curley over 100 yards in the air. Just big playmakers making things happen. Also on third down, they've done very, very well on third down here tonight. Glenn unable to really get off the field in some tough situations. They made the stop in the beginning, short plays, unable to convert on a couple of fourth down plays that put them in some tough spots. But still in this, got to make a big spot on defense. You know, McNeil's going to open the third quarter with the ball. You have to make a stop there. They're already down 11. You can't take another score and go down 18, be 3 touchdowns here. Not on a Friday night in Texas. You just can't do that. So we're looking for some big defensive plays from Glenn. We saw pressure towards the end of the first half, so see if they can keep that pressure and get to the quarterback. But he's dumping those quick slants and quick screens out to Curley, and Curley's just doing everything on his own.
Yeah, and there were some bright spots for Glenn on the offense, mainly Morris. Morris has last 2 runs for 17 and 12, and Thompson also, they're getting to go on the ground. Morris really using his power. It's downhill back going north to south, and he's doing a really good job, and he's really carrying the bulk of the offensive responsibilities. But also Thompson for Glenn, he's done a really good job. Corin Thompson, the senior, he's done a really good job of also having that change of pace. And not to mention Slade. Slade had the touchdown. You see Morris and you see Thompson. Slade's the one that has the touchdown for Glenn. So you see McGuire starting to get into a rhythm. He was towards the end of the second half. But again, it just hurts that you weren't able to come up with a stop there. You're taught there that giving up a score, at least a field goal. Field goal you want to think is the best thing you can do. Is the not necessarily best thing, but you are looking to not score at all, but you can almost afford a field goal in that situation, but a touchdown just hurts too much.
And we never want to be in the business of second-guessing our coach and our home team, but you made a great point towards the end of the second half. You know, maybe slowing it down a little bit, draining some of that clock, because we saw that McNeil was able to come back with 1:20 on the clock and come down and get a score with 1:09. They were able to drive down the field quickly and get a score in less than a minute. You know, they had the ball going. They were inside the 5-yard line. Clock's running when you're running the ball. They were quick to kind of run up there. Wonder if he could have that back. And when I talk to Coach Schoenfield this week, I'll ask him about it, in a respectful way, of course. But, it's just with that offense, you're running the ball well. You're at the 1-yard line. Maybe take your time, drain some more clock, force them to use a timeout maybe. And then maybe now we're looking at a one-possession game as opposed to a 2-possession game. But nonetheless, I pretty much know the answer he's going to give me. He's going to tell me he trusted his defense in that spot, which is what he's supposed to do, and they just didn't get the job done, unfortunately. So we'll see how they respond in the second half. Got a great show for you here. The McNeil band, they're out here doing a whole bunch of tricks. I feel like I'm watching a college band, all this coordination, all these letters that they're putting together, and then we'll obviously play the Glenn band so you can listen to while we're here on a break. We've got about 21 minutes left in halftime.
Yeah, obviously, this is how Texas does it with high school football up here, Alan.
I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I'm still a newcomer.
Yeah, but another point to make about that last drive on the 2 previous times when McNeil went down to on the 2 previous times when Glenn went down to score, the defense did make a stop at the end of one of them. So maybe he's looking back to the beginning of the game. He sees that the defense has responded to the momentum provided by the offense. Maybe he believed in that, and he saw that the trend was going, just didn't work out.
Yeah. A lot of adjustments to get. We got our defensive coordinators and our offensive coaches up here. They're up here in the box with us, right next to us. They're down there. They're going to be talking to the guys, making sure that they can make these adjustments and still bounce back. We got a whole half of football. A lot of things can happen. Obviously some positive plays. We saw McGuire roll out, hit some guys open. Henderson. I'm telling you, my X factor is still Sam Martin. I want to see Sam Martin get involved, number 13, the senior. He's got quick hands, quick feet. He's a playmaker. Let him get. You see what they're doing with Curley. A lot of end arounds, a lot of screen plays. Let him get the ball in his hand, kind of like Odell Beckham. Get the ball and let those legs do the working. So I'm really looking forward to see them get Hatter and Sam Martin involved in the second half. It's been a lot of Thompson, and I think McNeil's starting to pick up on that, but I would love to see Martin and Hatter in the second half.
Of course, coming from a Giants fan, of course you're going to make the comparison. But, yeah, Sam Martin, again, he's trying to be the guy, the senior 5'7", but nonetheless has very good speed. And all we've seen, but Henderson has also provided a good target there for McGuire. And give some credit to Glenn's defense. Obviously, Curley did hurt you, but Curley was hurting you with little dumps down in the flat. He was hurting you with little screens down in the middle. They haven't allowed Curley really to get behind the defense and really burn him for a big play. The one that he did break for that for the first touchdown, I think it was just one missed tackle, and he was able to make the rest of the plays with his feet. So you got to give credit to the defense that the secondary is doing a decent job on a very good wide receiver.
Absolutely. So I checked in with the press box. They kind of didn't understand what the referee was saying either. All they understood what the penalty was going to be assessed on the kickoff. So we'll see how that matches up. Again, Glenn will be kicking off to McNeil to start off. So we'll see if they'll be kicking from the 50 or if they're kicking on the 20. See what that penalty was actually on, or if they're both penalties are offsetting, unable to pick that up. I'm pretty impressed with McNeil considering where they came from last year. Last year, McNeil was 1-9, 0-6 in District 13 6A football. So, coming out here strong, running the ball well with Hutchinson, looking good with Curley, and that's it. The defense making stops when they need to make stops. Making big plays. That big hit by 44. That was a big, strong hit to end the first half.
Cody Davis, especially as the reserve will linebacker, he came in. He made a play that looks like McNeil took into the locker. They were very excited. The momentum, the crowd was into it. Looked like even the band got into it a little bit too. That entire side of the field was absolutely energetic, and looks like they're trying to carry some momentum into the second half, especially with their defense coming out. They're going to have to try to make a statement coming out.
Just as a scheduling reminder, we'll be back with you, obviously, for the second half coming up in about 17 minutes. But we'll be back with you guys next Thursday. We're back here at Gupton, back-to-back home games for the Grizzlies as they will take on the McCallum Knights, as they will travel all the way up here to take on Glenn on a Thursday night, September 13th. Kickoff for 7 p.m. So we'll have a pregame for you at around 6:30. Short week for Glenn as they're going to bounce back. Still have a second half to think about, but just scheduling update next week, Thursday, September 13th, 7 p.m. Alan Spada and EJ Sanchez will be back with you on the call here at Gupton. Then they'll have a bye week. Get ready for district play as they'll start off on a tough road game against Elgin. But a lot of work to do here in the second half. Defense has got to step up. McGuire, all these guys got to get some more points on the board. It looks like it's going to take probably 30-35 points to get going. They were able to score 14 points in the fourth quarter last week against Liberty Hill. See if they can get some late game magic as we head to the second half. The Glen Grizzlies band is getting ready to get on the field. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll allow you to enjoy the sounds of the Grizzly band here at Gupton Stadium in Cedar Park, Texas on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network.
At Austin Pets Alive, the mission is to promote and provide the resources, education, and programs needed to eliminate the killing of companion animals. That means more happy pets joining more happy families every single day. In fact, Austin Pets Alive has saved more than 25,000 dogs and cats since 2008, and you can help. Adopt a new family member, help out with a donation, or roll up your sleeves and volunteer. If you have love, time, or money to spare, and we all have at least one of those, you are needed. Visit AustinPetsAlive.com to get started. Austin Pets Alive, helping people help pets.
The KMAX Sports Camp was so hot this summer, we're going to offer it again this coming December. That's right, 3 KMAX Sports Campers not only learned about sports broadcasting, but they're getting it done on the KMAX Sports Network as you hear this. You want your young one to learn, get hands-on experience, and possibly get involved? Middle schoolers, high schoolers, and adults are welcome. We'll hold 3 sessions in December, including 2 over Christmas break. Call us for more information at 512-338-1111, extension 100. That's 512-338-1111, extension 100. The KMAX Sports staff, with over 100 years of combined broadcast experience, will give each camper personalized guidance on getting into and advancing a career in sports broadcasting. Campers will be provided water, camp t-shirt, and a sample of their work. And just like high school sophomores Jace Andrews, Blake Herrera, and EJ Sanchez, the best campers may get an opportunity to intern and possibly work with KMAX Sports. Call us for information, 512-338-1111, extension 100, or email us info@kmaxsports.com. The KMAX Sports Camp, the best way to get in the game.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
We welcome you back to John Gupton Stadium, home of the Glen Grizzlies. EJ Sanchez along with Alan Cepeda. Randy Fry is behind the glass doing the QAing tonight. We appreciate you, Randy. I take this quick message just to let you know, here comes your Glen Grizzly band. So we'll see you right after, and we'll get you ready for the second half here. McNeil Mavericks 25, your Glen Grizzlies 14. Please enjoy your Glen Grizzly band.
Grizzly Marching Band. The band is under the field direction of over 87 Singapore Magic Mountain. Ladies and gentlemen, Southfield Middle School Club Band President. From the Edna Middle School Band and Staff and from Riley Middle School Band and Staff, thank you to all the visitors, students, and the young band community.
This is the K-Max Sports Network, and this is what we do.
Looking left, throws into the end zone. Snap again, he hits the turf, and Devon scoops it up. Cameron Wilkins has it.
On the end zone. 10, 5, touchdown.
Let us broadcast your team. Send an email to Merle at KMaxSports.com or Chuck at KMaxSports.com to find out how.
Side, he's got blockers in front of him.
10,
Touchdown.
5, touchdown.
Yes, sir.
It's what we do, and nobody does it better. We are K-Max Sports.
We hope you're enjoying tonight's broadcast. At KMax Sports, we work hard to provide quality professional broadcasts to make it easier for the booster clubs with whom we work to find sponsorships. We ask that you please patronize these advertisers and thank them for supporting your team's broadcasts. You can help your booster club fund the broadcast by simply clicking on the donate button on KMaxSports.com. And if you're a fan of the other school, you can show your appreciation for tonight's broadcast by making a donation as well. Thank you in advance for your support. And now, let's take you back out to the game.
This is the K-Max Sports Network.
Alan Cepeda, DJ Sanchez, Randy Fry with you on a Friday night here in Texas from Gumpton Stadium. About 2 minutes left before we kick off the second half. McNeil will be ready to receive the ball. They have an 11-point lead, 25-14. Both teams scored touchdowns in the first quarter. Missed extra point by McNeil made it 7-6, and then 7 points for Glenn, 19 points in the second quarter for the visitors. Mavericks, 25-14 so far, a minute and a half. We'd be remiss without mentioning our great sponsors here for the Glenn football team. Wouldn't be here without them. First, we'll talk about Dream Finders in Austin. Dream Finders is now building in the greater Austin area, providing a variety of homes across 8 different communities. Whether you're looking for your first home with a city lifestyle living or downsizing your luxurious retirement home, Dream Finders in Austin has the perfect home for you in Texas. DreamFinderHomes.com/Austin Communities, and of course Los Reyes Mexican Restaurant. Hopefully they can bring us some food on Thursday's game. They're off of North Bell Boulevard, Cedar Park, 251 North Bell Boulevard. Their happy hours start at 2 o'clock, so they get pretty aggressive with those margaritas here in Texas. Visit them, check out some reviews, go to LosReyesTexas.com. And as always, follow the Grizzlies on social media, Glenn Grizz Football on Twitter, all in for Glenn hashtag, and check out the website glennfootball.com. We're about 30 seconds away from kickoff. Soto is going to take it back as we have Evan Plock.
So it looks like that penalty was enforced against the Grizzlies.
Line drive kick all the way back. Plock's going to take it at the 29. He's going to bring it across the 35 to the 40. He's hit. And he's brought down at the 39-yard line. So a 10-yard return for Evan Plock, and McNeil will take over at the 39-yard line to start things off in the second half.
And I know you said Noah Holmes had a fumble recovery last week. He was trying to have a fumble strip right there. Nearly got it out of Plock's hands. It looks like Plock brought his arm back just enough, but he had enough strength to bring it back in. But Holmes definitely trying to be a ball hawk, obviously with 69 Ts last year by himself.
Big drive coming up for the Grizzlies on defense. Well rested after that long halftime. So it'll be awesome to see them have a 3 and out. McNeil will take over at the 39-yard. Hutchinson in the backfield. Going heavy with the line. High snap. Hutchinson up the middle. And he's met and pushed back. As it's going to be Gaiku and Brian Creel in on the tackle. Excuse me, not Creel and Guyton in on the loss. So big loss.
Guyton did a good drive there. He took the offensive line and himself power driving right into the backfield, and he was able to tackle basically both. So it was a good show of strength right there, and it was a good play trying to keep these backs and trying to make this McNeil team one-sided.
They'll say he got back to the line of scrimmage, even though it looks like he lost a few. 2nd and 10 from the 39 shotgun snap, and they'll look for Curley on the outside. It's actually Plock this time. He's going to push, get a first down across the 50. He's going to get to the 49-yard line of Glenn. So a 12-yard pickup.
Plock might be the X factor going into the second half if they focus too much on Hutchinson and Curley, and you need to with how dynamic they've been.
Quick snap. Hutchinson up the middle is going to push across the 45 and get to about the 44.5-yard line. They'll say 43, so 6-yard pickup for Hutchinson.
And another play right there by Matthew Hester. Hester's been in the backfield all day. He's really doing a good job setting that edge and trying to let his linebackers come into the gaps and make some plays.
2nd and 4 from the 43, Glenn territory. High snap, Hutchinson back up the middle. He's met by a pile of Grizzlies, and they'll push him back. And let's see where they spot him. They'll spot him at the 43-yard line.
That was Hester again on the stop.
They'll make it the 42-yard line, so it'll be a 3rd and 3. Big down for Glenn. Although I'm pretty confident that McNeil will go for it on 4th down. Camper back to pass. He throws. Is immediately hit. Great defensive play. Nonetheless, big play by Evan Plock for another 1st down. Now they're going to Plock.
This McNeil team has so many weapons on its offense.
So the defense trying to take away Curley and Hutchinson. Now Plock is stepping up. Faked handoff. McGuire back to pass. He's going to find Malik Gordon. Across the 30. He's going to go down at the 31-yard line. So a 5-yard pass to Gordon.
It was taken immediately by Townsley. Townsley at least has 8 tackles already.
2nd and 4. Outside again to Plock. Push forward. Ball comes out, but it's out of bounds. As Plock, the spot they'll give him a 1st down.
And again, like I'm saying, these Glenn defenders, they see that these McNeil ball carriers, they see that ball is vulnerable. That's the 2nd one that's popped out, and the 2nd one that Glenn wasn't able to cover just from the proximity to the sideline.
A 4-yard play, 3rd and 1 they're going to call it. Not enough yet for the 1st down. They are going to give it the 1st down as they move the chains. Ball's on the 26-yard line. Snap, throw is out to Curley. Now gets, ball drops in and out of his hands about the 25-yard line.
Now you take that gift if you're Glenn, because with what Curley's already done, another opportunity for him, and he wasn't able to capitalize on it. If you're Glenn, you count your blessings right there.
2nd down and 10. Ball's on the 26. McNeil needs the 16, so they're pushing it right down the throat of Glenn so far to open up this 3rd quarter. 9:12 left on the clock. Shotgun snap. The give is to Brown now. He's going to push up the middle. Fumble. Ball's out. It's recovered by McNeil. Alertly flying on the ball. Looks like that's going to be one of the offensive linemen falling right on it, but they gave it to Brown, and he fumbles it, but they push forward.
The backside of that play, Lee Pollock absolutely just put an absolute knife into Zane Camphor. He took him all the way down to the ground near the 45-yard line, maybe trying to get a little back for that hit at the end of the 1st half.
Yep. 3rd and 7, big down for the Grizzlies defense. They get pressure. Camphor back to pass. He's going to throw deep. Receiver falls down. And it might have been a chance by Gwynn to get an interception, but nonetheless, 4th down as Camphor looking for Plock as he fell down.
Yeah, hopefully I'm not jinxing it right now. This has been a very clean football game through and through. Not a ton of penalties other than the one that was ending the 1st half with some extracurricular activity at the end. But other than that, not a lot of turnovers. Nothing really that has swayed the momentum other than that point after attempt by Glenn. So if Glenn can get a turnover here in the 2nd half, that could be the key to them trying to get back into this football game.
They'll start right now, 4th and 7. It looks like McNeil's going to go for it. They need the 16-yard line. They're at the Glenn 23 right now. Empty backfield. The ball's deep in the back of the end zone as he overthrows Curley. So a big defensive stand for the Glenn Grizzlies. They'll take over downs at their own 23-yard line with 8:24 left in the 3rd quarter.
That is absolutely huge right there, especially, but obviously, Camphor knows what he has. He has a 50-50 ball up there for Curley. Just threw it out of the outstretched hands of Curley. Now Glenn has to take advantage. The momentum's on their side. Their defense got the stop, especially coming out of halftime. So they're going to need to try to capitalize right here, led by McGuire.
It was a sharper throw. If he would have lofted it, maybe he gives Curley a chance, but it was more of a line drive throw, so Curley unable to get there in time. But a great job by the Glenn defense making some big stops, especially against the run. Guyton had a big stop, so did Daiku. So this defense stepping up, coming out. They bend, but they didn't break, so they're going to take over now at the 23-yard line. So I think we might have a weather issue with lightning because both teams are going to the locker rooms, it looks like, and they're calling fans in. So you might have a lightning threat in the area. As I mentioned, it's been rain all week. It's been tough. We'll wait for the official announcement, but we'll assume it's going to be a weather delay here in this game. 8:24 left in the third quarter. Mavericks holding on to a 25-14 lead against the Grizzlies. Grizzlies just took over on downs as McNeil turned it over, failing to convert on fourth down. So we are going to get a weather update and see what's going on. But lightning in the area here at Cedar Park. Has been a tough week so far in Texas with all the rain and lightning on and off. So unfortunately, we're going to have a weather delay. We'll find out more information. And as soon as we get it, we'll pass it along to you. Alan Cepeda, EJ Sanchez, Randy Fry with you on the broadcast. We'll be back after these messages with a weather update.
KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think of the Congress Avenue Bridge Bat Colony.
Okay, folks, here they come. They're flying out from under the bridge. They appear to be Louisville Sluggers, and they're falling. Oh, the humanity.
As God is my witness, I thought bats could fly. Bringing your teams to you since 2003 without dropping the ball or the bat. We are KMAX Sports. Do you love the game of football? Wish you could be part of the action? Then become a football official. The Austin Football Officials Association is actively seeking new members to officiate games all across Central Texas. The Austin Football Chapter of TASO, the Texas Association of Sports Officials, provides a 2-year training program for new members. Taught by a crew of veteran officials, these training classes meet each Monday night from July through November and include classroom and on-field instruction. You don't need to be an ex-player or a coach to become a great official and have a memorable officiating career. As our officials will tell you, working around student athletes at all levels of football is gratifying. Plus, you'll develop lifelong friendships with other officials who share your passion for the game. Officiating football is a great way to get into and stay in shape, be a positive role model for student athletes, retain your competitive edge, and earn additional income. Visit the Austin Football Officials Association online at afoa.ws for more information. That's afoa.ws. KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think of the state capitol if it was full of sports. I mean, the rotunda is more than large enough for basketball or volleyball, and let's face it, anything we do in there is going to be better than what's going on right now. Plus, those guys only work every 2 years. We bring your teams to you every doggone day. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are KMAX Sports. KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? We're like the biggest, most beautiful field of bluebonnets you can imagine. Except we're not going to play sports here because they're bluebonnets. What, are you crazy? We'll get some nice pictures before we go, though. Hey kids, just sit down over there. Yeah, right in the middle of them. Smile. Perfect. Well, we'll send this one to Grandma. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are KMAX Sports. Purchase a copy of this or any KMAC broadcast for personal use, and portions of the proceeds go to your school. Whether you're making a highlight video or just want to be able to enjoy this game years in the future, send us a note to info@kmaxsports.com. That's info@kmaxsports.com. We can even do some editing for you for a small fee. Purchase any broadcast for personal use. Hit us up. info@kmaxsports.com. Bringing your teams and your highlights to you. We are KMAX Sports.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
And we welcome you back into John Gupton Stadium, where the McNeil Mavericks are currently leading your Glen Grizzlies 25-14 with 8:24 left to go in the third quarter. Everybody at the facility here at John Gupton Stadium has been advised to seek shelter. Both teams, all fans, and all LISD members are now seeking shelter in their car or in the field house. EJ Sanchez, Alan Cepeda here, and Randy Fry doing the QA work for us tonight for KMAX Sports on the Vype Media Network. We're going to try to get you to some other sports action going on here, especially here in Texas. Number 16 ranked TCU is currently behind SMU right now with 6:54 left to go in the first. Some other matchups that we can look forward to. here on this college football Saturday. So good to be back in season. Mississippi State will take on Kansas State tomorrow. Michigan will take on Western Michigan. And ranked Oklahoma, the hated, depending on who you are, Longhorns or Aggies. The hated Oklahoma Sooners, if you're a Longhorn fan, they will take on UCLA tomorrow. Oregon and Virginia Tech also will take place at 1 p.m., as well as probably the game of the week, Georgia against South Carolina, 2 ranked teams in the 14 playoff push.
Forward to, obviously, we saw a tough loss last week. Hometown, University of Texas, losing at Maryland. 3 straight turnovers to end that game. Sam Ehlinger unable to come up with a big play. They had a fumble on that drive as well. So 3 turnovers on their last 3 drives. Texas unable to come up with a victory against Maryland. Obviously this is an easier game. They're going to play Tulsa at home in their home opener tomorrow at Darrell K. Royal Field here in Austin, Texas. So definitely looking forward to that. And I believe another big Texas game is going to be Clemson at Texas A&M, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So that's another big game. A lot of big football here. In college, we have our NFL season opener as well coming forward. I'm a University of Miami fan, full disclosure. I still root for Texas since we're here.
Ouch.
Tough loss for us on Sunday against LSU up in Dallas, so we can still kind of highlight that as Texas football, as that game was in Dallas. They struggled to an LSU team that a lot of people didn't think were going to be that good this year, but they showed up. Offense looked good. It is what it is, but a big game I'm looking forward to is seeing Texas A&M with Jimbo Fisher, getting a lot of recruits coming out, especially some kids in Texas this year against number 2 Clemson. Perennial BCS playoff team every year.
Yeah, and LSU basically considered a Texas team. You have so many people from Louisiana, especially in the Lake Charles area. Basically a Texas team, so it was good to see that for them. Other scores from last week: Clemson rolled over Furman. Oklahoma over Florida Atlantic 63-14. Clemson over Furman was 48-7. The matchup of last week, in a lot of people's opinions, was Auburn and Washington, and Auburn came away with the victory. It was the Chick-fil-A kickoff. It was 21-16 Auburn in that game. Again, blessed to have this kind of atmosphere for high school football, college football, and all the way up to the NFL. Obviously with the Cowboys and the Texans, it's always good to be back in season, especially personally from where we are. We're down here. I know you're up from towards the north, so how's it been for you to see how it is down here personally?
I'm very impressed, to see just the amount of revenue and the amount of resources that go into promote these high school stadiums. I mean, we're sitting in a stadium right now that can hold easily, 7,000-8,000 people, maybe even more. And this is for a high school thing. I'm used to playing, high school baseball in New York City in public parks and fields that don't have mounds or grass on the infield. So, very fortunate to be out here in Texas. Just moved here. And this is just a great atmosphere. Definitely excited to be working for KMAX Sports, working with you. But this is just amazing to see some of these fields. These look like college fields here in Texas. Last week we were up in Liberty Hill. We're at Gupton. Can't wait to see what's going on in Elgin and some of those schools that are out here in Texas. So it's very, very exciting for me to be here. And I'm very excited to be with Glenn. This is our first varsity UIL season. So this is history. This is a program that's going to be very successful in the short-term future, the long-term future. Very happy to be aboard and witnessing history with Coach Schoenfield and his boys down there. Just an update, we had on a lightning alert. I think I just saw some. So Texas UIL rules provide 30 minutes of idle time in between that lightning signal and when we can resume play. So it looks like we're sitting at about 22 minutes away before we can resume play. So if you want, take a break, go get something to eat, go to the bathroom, come back. We'll continue to update you on all the sports. But one thing I want to bring up, back to University of Texas, this is a big game this week.
Of course.
You got Tulsa, and then after that you got 2 tough games against 2 ranked teams. After this, you got USC and then TCU. So this is a must-win, and it's very disappointing that they didn't come up with that win last week against Maryland.
Yeah, especially it seems like Maryland is tormented, especially last year they lost to Maryland as well. It seems like, I think I talked to one of the people at KMAC, and they said lost by a little less this year, so hopefully they can get over the hump next year.
Well, similar to in the NFL.
Yeah.
We saw the Philadelphia Eagles, who obviously won the Super Bowl last year. They played Atlanta and Philly last year, lost 15-10 on the last-second touchdown heave to Julio Jones, no good. Same thing that happened last night. The NFL opened up. They had a weather delay as well. We saw Philly defend home turf at home, 18-12 winners over Atlanta. Football season's back in all forms. Excited about Sunday. Excited to see the New York Giants play the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of good matchups. Dallas Cowboys go to Carolina. Houston Texans go to New England. Never an easy thing to go to New England. As great as Deshaun Watson was last year, and we're glad he's back healthy, it's tough to go to New England and try to win a football game.
That's a game I'm looking forward to, especially with the game they kind of had last year. Watson, it seems like that was kind of his coming out.
That was a
game.
shootout, yeah. They just came up. They New England always seems to find a way
to win a game,
to win something. So a lot of things going on. Fantasy football, obviously, if you've drafted, and hopefully you guys like your team. It's funny, I talked to some guys about it, or you see some stuff online. People getting all nervous and excited. It's the first week. Play your best guys, see what happens, and go from there. No reason to be panicking too much, unless you're Le'Veon Bell owner. So update on that story. Le'Veon Bell still unable to report to camp, still waiting for that contract. Antonio Brown came out today on social media and embraced Le'Veon Bell, told him, don't worry, I got your back, even though a lot of the players have now started to turn on Le'Veon because they want to win. I don't think if they need Le'Veon, it's not right now.
Yeah.
They definitely don't need him Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. A couple easy games to start the season. They need him towards the second half. They need him in the playoffs. They need him healthy. So hopefully they can come to a situation. But he's holding out for a payday, and I don't blame him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the backfield situation, it's not exactly in shambles. I mean, you have a good back that they just drafted in James Conner. The offensive line is very confident in him. You saw it from the center, Marquise Pouncey. He was the one that was quick to defend Connor and said that the offense isn't going to be going necessarily in a negative direction.
Yeah, and Connor, battled back from cancer. If he didn't have cancer, he's first round talent. So they see if they plug and play. And Pittsburgh has had a history. If you go back, I'm a little older than you, but if you go back to some of their history, they draft great running backs.
They do.
From acquiring Jerome Bettis. A lot of people don't remember Jerome Bettis was a Ram, but they acquired Jerome Bettis. Then you just look from after that. You go to Fast Willie Parker, Rashad Mendenhall, Le'Veon Bell. They brought in D'Angelo Williams. He did well. So they do a good job of bringing in backs and bringing in speed guys. Same thing with receivers. You talk about Emmanuel Sanders, Plaxico Burress, Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown, Hines Ward, Antoine Randall.
This list just goes on and on. That's a first-class organization that the Steelers have, and especially just obviously you see with the three, you see Ben, Bell, and you see Brown. Those three players are huge, and that's all homegrown talent right there.
Don't forget about Juju Smith-Schuster, another big receiver.
It's against my better judgment.
So it shows you that's the confidence in a good organization. We draft well, we acquire well, and you know what? One guy doesn't stop the show. So if Bell doesn't come to camp or he doesn't show up, hopefully Connor can fill his role and maybe he's the next star. Every year we see a brand new guy. Who would have saw after week 1 last year? Who would have thought Alvin Kamara and Kareem Hunt would have had the years that they had coming out of nowhere? Third round picks at that.
Mm-hmm. So we're here at John Gupton Stadium. The McNeil Mavericks are currently leading the Glen Grizzlies 25-14 with 8:24 left to go in the third quarter. We are in a lightning delay per UIL rules. It has to be a 30-minute stoppage of play in the game. And
fortunately, we're getting a lot of activity in the parking lot, so looks like we might be a little light in the second half. The crowd. Hopefully, all this passes and we can get the second half off and play. Mavericks holding on to a 25-14 lead. Great defensive stand right before we went to break. That defense came up big. They got all the way down to the 20-yard line and unable to come through on fourth down. They try to get Curley in the back of the end zone. Ball's too wide, so Glenn making the big stop, and they were getting ready to take over at the 23-yard line, and the way they were moving the ball makes you think that they can get something going to get back in this ball game right away.
And almost hurt. This delay hurt. If it was going to hurt somebody, it was going to hurt Glenn. You had the momentum on your side after that huge defensive stand. You were able to lock down Curley on that last play, and the offense seemed to be doing what it was doing coming out of the half. They were in a good groove. They were getting guys going. They have their three backs. They have Morris. They have Thompson. They have Slade. All of them were going at a good pace. And this delay, it could work both ways. The defense could get a good rest right now. Maybe some more adjustments can be made between the coaching staff with Coach Schoenfield. Maybe more of that could happen. And we do hope that
Let's just hope that Curly gets a little tight. His muscles tighten up a little bit because he's been doing a number, him and Hutchinson. So that also might hurt a fast-paced team like McNeil, where they're running up and down the field, they're moving all over the place. Those guys get, they're coming out of halftime, they come out a little bit, and then they tighten up again. They got to go back and wait, and obviously it's a waiting game. We haven't seen any precipitation yet or any lightning. That one strike, I think I saw a corner somewhere, but it might have just been a flashlight or someone's car headlight. But we're still waiting here. We got some time to go. We're waiting for an announcement.
We do ask that if you were at the game tonight and you're going to have, first and foremost, be careful and be safe driving home, but also tune in to the rest of the broadcast. It'll be me right here, Alan Cepeda, Randy Fry will be doing the QAing. We're going to take a short commercial break, but we will be right back momentarily. You're listening to the GRIZZLIES on the KMAX Sports Network, on the Vype Media Network as well.
Vype Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet, covering UIL, private schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at Vype, VYPE, and also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.
This is Kevin McAdams. From the McAdams Company Creative. We love to make commercials. Let us make yours. Yep, that's me. Well, my voice is amazing and does sound wonderful. I've been given to understand that every once in a while, y'all might want to hear somebody different. So I went out and recruited some guys. So first, I'd like to introduce Blake.
Good afternoon. My name's Blake Herrera, and my voice will make you feel safe on an airplane.
This guy over here, this is Steve.
Hi, I'm Steve. True story. When I was in college, girls used to love it when I read their textbooks to them.
And I'm Kevin, and my voice makes women want to buy new cars. Let's talk about what we can do for you. Reach out to me by phone or text 512-653-9491 or pick me out online at themcadamscompany.com. I'm Kevin McAdams with the McAdams Company Creative. No longer working alone. I love to make commercials. Let me make yours.
Socialize with us.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click. It's real easy, man.
On Twitter, at KMAX Sports, or catch us on Facebook. Search KMAX Sports. Just another way KMAX Sports is bringing your teams to you.
We hope you're enjoying tonight's broadcast.
This is the KMAX Sports Network, and this is what we do.
Looking left, throws into the end zone. Snap again, he hits the turf, and Devon scoops it up. Cameron Wilkins has it.
15, 10, 5, touchdown.
Let us broadcast your team. Send an email to Merle at KMAXSports.com or Chuck at KMAXSports.com to find out how.
Side, he's got blockers in front of him.
15,
Touchdowns.
5, touchdown.
Yes, sir.
It's what we do, and nobody does it better. We are KMAX Sports.
At Austin Pets Alive, the mission is to promote and provide the resources, education, and programs needed to eliminate the killing of companion animals. That means more happy pets joining more happy families every single day. In fact, Austin Pets Alive has saved more than 25,000 dogs and cats since 2008, and you can help. Adopt a new family member, help out with a donation, or roll up your sleeves and volunteer. If you have love, time, or money to spare, and we all have at least one of those, you are needed. Visit AustinPetsAlive.com to get started. Austin Pets Alive, helping people help pets.
The KMAX Sports Camp was so hot this summer, we're going to offer it again this coming December. That's right, 3 KMAX Sports Campers not only learned about sports broadcasting, but they're getting it done on the KMAX Sports Network as you hear this. You want your young one to learn, get hands-on experience, and possibly get involved? Middle schoolers, high schoolers, and adults are welcome. We'll hold 3 sessions in December, including 2 over Christmas break. Call us for more information at 512-338-1111, extension 100. That's 512-338-1111, extension 100. The KMAX Sports staff, with over 100 years of combined broadcast experience, will give each camper personalized guidance on getting into and advancing a career in sports broadcasting. Campers will be provided water, camp t-shirt, and a sample of their work. And just like high school sophomores Jace Andrews, Blake Herrera, and E.J. Sanchez, the best campers may get an opportunity to enter and possibly work with KMAX Sports. Call us for information, 512-338-1111, extension 100, or email us info@kmaxsports.com. The KMAX Sports Camp, the best way to get in the game.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
Here at John Gupton Stadium, where the McNeil Mavericks currently lead your Glen Grizzlies 25-14 with 8:24 left to go here in the third quarter. For those of you who are just tuning in, at 8:24, after the Glen Grizzlies had a good defensive stop to open up the second half, we did get hit with a lightning delay, and per UIL rules, there will have to be a 30-minute slot where nothing can happen. Everybody's been asked to evacuate and seek shelter. Seems like the parking lot is very active right now. And EJ Sanchez alongside Alan Cepeda, Randy Fry doing the QA work tonight on the KMAC Vype Media Network. And what I wanted to let you guys know right now is the look ahead for the Glen Grizzlies. Obviously already took a hard one to a Liberty Hill team who, as you said already, Alan, a very good team. You saw the slot T offense started to wear. They're only down by 7 at the half, started to wear on them towards the end of the second half.
Absolutely. I mean, they came like 14-7 at the half, and eventually that slot T, what do they say? It's like Novocaine. Give it time, it'll work. And it sure enough, time kicked in, it worked. And they went out there and they got the job done. They're state champs back-to-back 2007, 2006, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
State champs for a reason. So, they gave up a good fight. It was a team, that was just better than them. And Coach Schoenfield admitted that to me when we spoke. He said, this is a great team. It's one of the best teams they've had in a long time, and they're going to go far. As you mentioned last year, they went pretty deep into the playoffs before they lost to Waco La Vega, and I think it was the state semis. So
it was.
They were almost on their way to another state championship last year. They still bring back Kyle Harrison. They still bring back 3 first district offensive linemen. So they got it going there.
Yeah.
Tough loss there. They're showing some fight here tonight. Hopefully we can try to get this game in and see how they finish it off, because again, after that big defensive stand, you want to see some improvement and see if they can come away and pull this off.
Yeah. An interesting matchup next week against the McCallum Knights. McCallum in their week 1 game in the Taco Shack Bowl against Anderson, they took care of the Trojans pretty handily. Anderson obviously having another rough start to the year. I think they won 1 district game last year. Anderson Trojans looking to improve, but an interesting game against McCallum. McCallum put on a good show in that game, and so maybe a clash of the offenses there. They put up 46 against the Trojans week 1. Maybe a couple of the nerves coming in, maybe a couple of the juices, because they came out and they delivered a really good performance. And at Elgin, the Wildcats, they always have a good program.
Yep.
They're always going to be there. They're one of those teams. They're one of those pesky teams that are they're never going to leave you alone. And Glen, they have a good.
If you look at, then we're going to start getting to district play. We have this one against McNeil, next week against McCallum, and then we do get the bye week, and then we go all into district games. They get their 7 district games, see if they can get hot and get into some kind of a district playoff. Obviously, they're going to try to work out the kinks these first couple of games. There's been some good stuff going with the offense. They're able to run the ball. I think that they're a little bit more efficient when they run the ball north and south as opposed to east and west. They have been getting some plays to the outside with Thompson, but it seems like when they run it up the middle with Thompson or Morris or even Slade, they're able to get a little bit more than when they go into motion and go to the right to left. So it'll be interesting to see how long the coaches stick with that kind of game plan and what they're doing, because when they run up the middle, they're pretty solid. They're able to get a lot of yardage and move the ball, and that opens up the pass game. We've seen McGuire have he's getting better pocket awareness, is able to throw on the run, is able to step up in the pocket. So he's developing as a passer, and by the time they get to Elgin, when that district play starts, this is going to be a much different football team.
Yeah, and one of those people they are going to play in district is going to be Weiss, the Weiss Hawks, and they're currently behind Canyon Lake 20-3. So always got to keep an eye on your own district, see what's going on. And if Glen's able to make the playoffs this year, it would be absolutely huge for the school. A school in only its 3rd year of existence and its 2nd year of existence, making it to the baseball playoffs for the first time, and that is impressive, especially in a district that includes Taylor, a district that includes Lampasas, a district that includes Salado. Salado made it all the way to the regional finals last year, and so to come out of that kind of district in that sport and try to transfer it over to another sport, if this school is able to do that, that is more than impressive. Especially with how little time you have. Your first year, you only have sophomores. Your second year, this will be their first graduating class this year, Alan. That's how crazy this is. So you see some of these seniors on this team, this is their first class, and if they're able to make it to the playoffs in the first year of a graduating class, that's something special, and that's why I'm personally excited to be on Glenn this year. We're already witnessing history, the first technically official home game right here at John Gupton Stadium for the Grizzlies, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Absolutely. I think Coach Schoenfield runs a tight ship. We got a lot of good things that they're putting on together. They're getting better. He told me, too, that this is, you see a lot of teams from week 1 to week 2 to week 3. That's when you see the biggest jump. You see a lot of improvement in those first couple of weeks. And then by week 3, week 4, you kind of are what you are, and you go from there. But a lot of guys are stepping up. We've seen Nichols come out and play well. We've seen some defensive guys come out and play well as well. So, a lot of kids are getting better from last week. They look a little bit quicker. That big defensive stop makes me very excited about how this game is going to turn out. Hopefully we can get it going. Glenn Grizzlies some of them are already kind of outside of their locker room, or at least the coaches and the training staff. They're on the field waiting to see what happens. But, crowds are empty. Everybody's waiting to kind of get going.
And we can check up on another team that will be in the district this year for Glenn. That would be the Cedar Creek Eagles. They're currently against Aikens right now, and they are behind 13-0. At the half. No points through halftime, so that's another game where we can look for the defense to really step up and make a statement in that game. But again, Cedar Creek, just one of those teams, again, that just won't go away. These are going to be tough district games, and especially when you get into district, same way it is in professional sports and in the college rankings. Your conference knows you well, your division knows you well, to where it gets to the point where there are no secrets between the two teams. So those are the games where it really just comes down to execution and really handling your business between the lines.
Absolutely. Quickly about Coach Schoenfield, they had mentioned on, like I said, every week you could get Coach Schoenfield's weekly message to the program. This one was dated for September 2nd, talking about their great performance against Liberty Hill, even though they came out short. All the people that support them, the parents, the booster clubs, everybody that does a great job for Glenn. But one thing he is urging, they are running a fundraiser at Glenn. They have 3 weeks to hit their goal of $25,000. They need as much help as they can get. So if you can chip in and help out, email Coach Schoenfield, rob.schoenfield, Schoenfield, SCHOENFELD at leanderisd.org for donation form, for a packet. Donate to this great program, donate to this great school. A lot of their great things going on. They're helping kids. They're doing a lot of stuff. So donate if you can. It's always good to kind of give back, and Glenn's doing a great job for the community in Leander, and this is going to be a program that's going to be around for a long time, so try to get on board now if you can. Again, also if you go on the Glenn Grizzly website, you can check out the fundraising link right there as well. If you go to the home site and you click contact, believe the fundraising is there. So get on the website, donate if you can, do what you can. Follow the team on social media, on Twitter at Glenn Grizz, GRIZ, Gridiron at Twitter. Check them out on Facebook, at the GHS Athletic Booster Club. Also, quick mention, we've got to pay the bills here. Some of our sponsors: Los Reyes Mexican Restaurant, 251 Bell Boulevard, best margaritas in town, Cedar Park, Texas. Happy hour if you're getting going early, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., 251 Bell Boulevard. Check out the website, losreyestexas.com. And to one of our title sponsors, Dream Finder Homes in Austin, Texas. Get your next home, whether you're building it, creating it, buying it, leasing it. Get your next home at Dream Finder Homes in Austin. DreamFinderHomes.com/Austin Communities. Again, big supporters of the Glenn Grizzly program. So we're going to take another quick commercial break. Hopefully we have an update for you on the weather. We'll be back on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network.
Hey Booster parents, Get Involved is a new all-in-one tool that helps you raise funds, sign up volunteers, collect items, and promote your event or cause. It's never been so easy to get so much done. Forget the multiple volunteer, fundraising, and sign-up lists. It's now all-in-one. Get involved today at getinvolvedco.com. That's getinvolvedco.com.
KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think of the state capitol if it was full of sports. I mean, the rotunda is more than large enough for basketball or volleyball, and let's face it, anything we do in there is going to be better than what's going on right now. Plus, those guys only work every 2 years. We bring your teams to you every doggone day. Bringing your teams to you since 2003, we are KMAX Sports. The The K-Max Sports Camp was so hot this summer, we're going to offer it again this coming December. That's right, 3 K-Max Sports Campers not only learned about sports broadcasting, but they're getting it done on the K-Max Sports Network as you hear this. You want your young one to learn, get hands-on experience, and possibly get involved? Middle schoolers, high schoolers, and adults are welcome. We'll hold 3 sessions in December, including 2 over Christmas break. Call us for more information at 512-338-1111, extension 100. That's 512-338-1111, extension 100. The K-Max Sports staff, with over 100 years of combined broadcast experience, will give each camper personalized guidance on getting into and advancing a career in sports broadcasting. Campers will be provided water, camp t-shirt, and a sample of their work. And just like high school sophomores Jace Andrews, Blake Herrera, and E.J. Sanchez, the best campers may get an opportunity to intern and possibly work with K-Max Sports. Call us for information, 512-338-1111, extension 100, or email us info@kmaxsports.com. The K-Max Sports Camp, the best way to get in the game. K-Max Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? We're like the biggest, most beautiful field of bluebonnets you can imagine. Except we're not going to play sports here because they're bluebonnets. What, are you crazy? We'll get some nice pictures before we go, though. Hey kids, just sit down over there. Yeah, right in the middle of them. Smile. Perfect. Well, we'll send this one to Grandma. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are K-Max Sports.
Socialize with us.
You don't have what they call the social skill.
On Twitter @KMax Sports, or catch us on Facebook. Search KMax Sports. Just another way KMax Sports is bringing your teams to you.
This is the KMax Sports Network.
That the game between the Grizzlies and the Mavericks at the time.
K-Max Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think of the Congress Avenue Bridge back column.
Okay, folks, here they come. They're flying out from under the bridge. They appear to be Louisville Sluggers, and they're falling. Oh, the humanity.
As God is my witness, I thought bats could fly. Bringing your teams to you since 2003 without dropping the ball or the bat. We are K-Max Sports.
At Austin Pets Alive, the mission is to promote and provide the resources, education, and programs needed to eliminate the killing of companion animals. That means more happy pets joining more happy families every single day. In fact, Austin Pets Alive has saved more than 25,000 dogs and cats since 2008. And you can help. Adopt a new family member, help out with a donation, or roll up your sleeves and volunteer. If you have love, time, or money to spare, and we all have at least one of those, you are needed. Visit AustinPetsAlive.com to get started. Austin Pets Alive, helping people help pets.
Socialize with us.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click. It's real easy, man.
On Twitter @KMax Sports, or catch us on Facebook. Search KMax Sports. Just another way KMax Sports is bringing your teams to you.
Hey, Booster parents. Get involved.
This is the KMax Sports Network.
All right, back with you, Alan Spada, EJ Sanchez, Randy Fry with you. Unfortunately, we're bringing you some bad news as this game is now officially canceled. Inclement weather approaching Cedar Park at a very rapid rate. A lot of lightning in the area. So obviously, first and foremost, the safety of our kids, our fans, our athletes, our officials, everybody involved is the number one priority. So this game's going to end up being canceled. Per UIL rules, the fact that this game is already into the third quarter, the game will be ended the way it is now, so the Mavericks will hold on for victory, a 25-14 weather shortened game, so a tough loss for the Glen Grizzlies as they start to kind of come around on defense. That big stop on fourth down, so it's going to end right there. We'll pick things back for you on Thursday, remember we're back on Thursday. That kickoff's for 7 p.m. So we'll have a pregame show at around 6:15. We'll update you on that as we get closer to that. But unfortunately, the weather is not cooperating. It's been rough in Texas all week long, from Sunday all the way. It looks like we're going to go into the weekend as well. So, not ideal, but again, safety is most important. So we're going to shut down this game. We're going to shut down this broadcast. We will be back on Thursday, September 13th, 6:45 p.m. for a pregame show. 7 p.m. kickoff as the McAllen Knights come up to Cedar Park and play the Glen Grizzlies in their last non-district football game before they get ready for September 28th as we travel to Elgin, Texas, as they get ready to take on Elgin in their district opener. Any last thoughts from you, Mr. Sanchez?
Nothing big for me. I thought the Grizzlies came out and they put on a good performance against a very good McNeil team. I don't think that loss against the powerhouse of Del Val really shows what they were really about. They came out, their offense was high flying. They had Hutchinson, they had Curley, obviously. And it'll be interesting to see how Glenn reacts to this coming off a short week next week, and it'll be important to get them going. But this is your second week. This is my first week. I'm really excited just to get into the season. Happy to be here on behalf of K-Max Sports, and for all you Grizzly fans, I look forward to it, and we're ready to have a good year.
Absolutely. So for everybody who's checking us out, follow me on Twitter at CepedaMLB. I'll give you an update there. Check out the Glen website as well, glenfootball.com for updates. But again, we're back with you next Thursday, September 13th, right here in Gupton Stadium. The Grizzlies will take on the McAllen Knights. So for everybody involved, Grizzlies lose this one 25-14 in a weather-shortened game.
This is the K-Max Sports Network.